All right, it's the build, episode 6. We over here with Shaq and my boy Danny. You know, we're gonna be building today. Shaq, you said you wanted to build on something that we were talking about the other day. You just want to touch on that?
Well, yeah. What I said yesterday was like maybe there was a time that the Earth was flat, but like, so the world's an infinite plane. Like, if it's an infinite plane and there's different ice rings around,
Yeah.
like, so the ice ring is a circle. So, what's a circle in 3 dimensions?
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some slides today. I know one thing we haven't really been doing much is pulling up the slides. So I mean I'm gonna pull up the slides, show people what we're talking about, because some people get confused as to what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some slides on. Just give me a second. On Google. Well, go ahead, continue, bro.
So it's like, so we were probably living in the second dimension, and so the Earth was flat once, but once we moved on to the third dimension, I mean, a circle in 3 dimensions is a sphere. So that's how we get the globe and just all the different planets and whatnot. Those are just all the different those are just all the other different places beyond our ice ring.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Check that out. I'm gonna show people what we're talking about, the ice rings. Because like I said, a lot of people they have no idea what we're talking about. Basically, the ice rings, what Shaq's referring to, is basically
Hi.
barriers. The ice walls are like barriers going further into the open plane, and those barriers obviously keep you from going to the open plane. I'm trying to share my screen. It's not really working right now. Don't know why, but I'm sorry for that.
Yo, it's been doing that too lately. Even yesterday, Sean, when he went live, his was kept doing that.
I think what's going on is
Over and over again, he kept trying to share his screen. It was not working.
yeah.
It's Google Hangouts. It's being shit. So
Yeah,
we got to eventually get over to Zoom and forget this Hangouts.
right, yeah.
And we can use like Hangouts to talk or whatever to get everybody ready for the call, and then we can like switch over to Zoom and use that for the actual call.
Right. Yeah, this stuff is like acting weird. But basically, so
Yeah, oh, it's been weird, dude.
if anyone wants to like research what the ice rings are, it basically rings around this these continents that we call Pangea, or what was Pangea at one point, and they extend up miles up into the sky, and they basically act as barriers moving forth to the open plane that some flat earthers believe exist. Most real flat earthers believe. I believe that there's an open plane, and it helps me explain my theory. And my theory is it's pretty extensive. I mean, it's not that extensive, but it's, I mean, like, it doesn't have any supported research. That's why it's just a theory.
Well,
But,
touch on it.
well,
Touch on it.
okay, that's fine. My theory is that at one point in time, there were no dome structures or ice walls. It was all just a flat plane. Okay. And with this flat plane, okay, came the laws of nature, which we all understand as balance. We all understand, negative and positive, feminine and masculine, which is basically the polarization of life. Okay, up, down, whatever. Everyone understands that. That's something that will never go away, no matter what plane or where you are on the plane. So basically, what I feel like is that they were an advanced civilization.
Say it again.
I feel like there was an advanced. My theory is that there was an advanced civilization that realized that you cannot change people. That the balance of nature will always be the way it is, and you can't do anything about it. People will always, be barbaric, behavior, animalistic type behavior, and there will always be people who are devious, mischievous, jealous, devilish, whatever you want, all those negative traits that come with being a human being that we all once experienced too, like personally.
Yeah.
So basically, like what I'm saying is like, my theory is like basically this: the advanced civilization was trying to figure out a way to live in peace. And the only way to do that was to maybe create the dome-like structure, and out of respect for nature, not to kill off, all these races, different races of people who had, bad seeds in their race. My bad, I had to spit. But so basically what I'm thinking is like the more advanced race was also loving and benevolent beings. So, but they also realized they had to do something about this, because I feel like maybe there was like some type of warfare going on between these continents. I mean, look at all the continents you see on the Buddhist map, on the 10,000 century year old, 10,000 century year old map of the infinite plane, the plane with all the continents out there. It's a lot of continents. There's a lot of room for war. Like, think about all the problems that we have today, living in this little ass, these little ass continents in such a little small space. Like, we're only 3,000 miles away from like fucking China and shit. You know what I mean? Like, not that far. It's a 6-hour flight, bro. It's not that long at all. Like, so my point is like, what if all of these people, on this planet come from different continents of the plane, but because of that, the ego played so heavily, even probably more than today, because people probably had their own shit, and like they probably did go and invade other people, and it was probably way more serious than it is today, because people were probably more connected as one, like through their own race, though. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is like, my thing is like, this is the only way that the dome structure for me makes sense, like as an entity, as a being on this planet. Like, the only way I would allow for it to happen is if everyone was like going crazy, and I needed to take all the bad seeds and put them in one area and let them flourish and do their own thing in their own area. Like, the construction of the ice ring itself is like a prison, and it's hard to escape, especially if you're primitive. Like, if you don't have access or the knowledge to a boat, first of all, you're not getting anywhere. Second of all, you have to be warm enough to even make it there. You need lots of resources, food, energy, and then you got to figure out how the hell you're going to climb miles up that damn ice wall. And living in primitive times, like, it's almost damn near impossible to do it. Now, the dome structure is freaking strong. Like, with Operation Fishbowl, they sent the freaking a missile up there to see if they could punch through it, and they couldn't. To me, that sounds like engineering. You know what I mean? And I don't think that I do not think that these people that live beyond the ice rings are living in peril. I think they're living in peace because of this dome structure that we live in today, because the behavior, the negative behavior does not leak out into the rest of the plane. Everything is here. Like, so basically, you know, they say that there's other ice rings too, also, like that stretch further out beyond. Like, what if those ice rings also protected those who were positive from those who just may one day escape their dome structure and spill into theirs? Like, so there's many reasons. Like, I can't sit there and say for sure, oh yeah, this is definitely it, because like I said, it's all just a theory, it's speculation, and I'm only going with what makes sense to me. Like, why would someone want to place a dome structure? And the only way I see it is if that our ancestors, people that we come from, were fucking savages, had no respect for nature, had no respect for life at all, and needed to be confined in a place where.
Let me know if my shit's too loud. I'll mute myself.
No, you're good. You're good. We're put in a place that is confined, so that, you know, the well-being of others can flourish, you know, and thrive. They can thrive and live in peace without having to experience all the negative stuff that comes with being a human being. You know, maybe this is their way of their way of finding peace. You know, and I mean, I can't do anything but respect that if the theory is correct, because that's something I would do. You know, and if you love your family and friends, and you notice that this is the only way, because think about it right now. If you could do that today, you would, because there are many people who are just like regular people, average people, that say, why don't we just take all the rapists and murderers and throw them on one island and let them kill each other? You know, that's a concept that is wide range and it's spread out throughout the world, and a lot of people think like that. So if that idea can surface here in a place that is so terrible and fucked up already, what makes people think that somebody who wants the greater good for everybody and wants to be like, you know, and has like advanced technologies and like wants to live in peace, what makes you think that they haven't thought about that, but not only thought about that, actually put it into action and did it, you know, long time ago? We place ages on this. We place age on this planet as if as if it matters. It doesn't matter. Like I said, if you take a picture with a camera from 1876, is it an old picture or a new picture? You know? So who's to say that these structures, you know, are super old or super new, or, you know, if they're natural or unnatural? But nobody truly really knows. But one thing we do know is that it seems very intelligent. It seems like it was placed on purpose, and all we can do is speculate on that purpose. But I want to think about the best perspective, the best possibility, the best theory that can be theorized. Like, because like when you think about life, like what do we live for? We live for love. We don't live to kill people. We don't, like, anyone who is a murderer or assassin, you know, they can't wait for the day they die. You know, I know mad people who like are murderers and stuff, and then they tell me all the time, I don't care if I die. They're not worried about living life, so it can't be. You know, this dome can't be to continue to be negative, or to continue that, or to protect the negative entity. It can't be. It's only to protect others from the negative entity, because as long as we go back, you know, it's just like regular news on TV. What do we see on news on TV? Doom and gloom every single day. You look back in history, it's all doom and gloom. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if the whole purpose of the structure was to house the doom and gloom? Because other people wanted peace and serenity, and they knew that at that time they was able to do it because they was the most advanced civilization anyway. So it didn't really matter if history was told or not, because it's not about the history of us. It's about how they felt, why they built the dome structure, and we possibly will never know the history of it because we're not a part of that. We was sent away. We was casted away. In my theory, we was casted away as bad stones, as something that would eventually ruin, you know, all of the creation of the creator's work, you know. And think about it like on a whole nother level. Like, if creation or creator gave us freedom of choice, then my theory is that more correct, because it makes that much more sense. Like, because if we have the choice, that means we have technologies and advancements, disadvancements. The choice also comes with resources and all types of different things to manipulate your reality to what you want, hence being freedom of choice. You know what I mean? So what if they knew this and they was like, okay, yeah, well, you know, we can't harbor this negative force in our life anymore. So, but what we can do is we can contain it. And once we contain it, we don't know how long we can contain it for, but we'll make sure that, you know, we try to contain it for as long as we can by building these ice walls, by making the temperatures extreme, making these walls super duper high and almost impossible to climb up, making the stretch to the next land miles away and hard to survive. You know, Admiral Byrd talked about, you know, saber-toothed tigers and mammoths and shit like that, you know, in the other continents. Now, what if these animals only were extinct not because of what they say, like weather conditions, the ice age, and remember, the ice age is a bullshit. Ice age is bullshit to try to cover up what the ice age really was, and that was, okay, let's freeze up a bunch of water and turn it into ice, and you know, make ice walls, and maybe that's what the whole ice age bullshit is about in history. But it never really happened. It was really just the construction of the ice walls, and that's the reason why the mammoth and the saber-toothed tiger and all these animals are now extinct, because they was all killed off for food, not from a meteor, you know. Because people, think about it, if everyone was put into a structure like this, a dome structure, they're gonna need to do what? They're gonna need to eat, they're gonna need to survive. So over time, certain things are gonna go extinct because they don't have anywhere else to flourish. They can't go beyond the ice ring. They can't go, you know, and spread their seed everywhere. They're gonna eventually die out. And that's, for me, that's what explains extinction, you know, like extinction of all this shit. Because I don't believe that. I don't believe in space. So when you tell me that, oh, a meteorite came here and fucking killed all the dinosaurs, fuck you. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe that dinosaurs are real. But if Admiral Byrd said he saw saber-toothed tigers and mammoths and stuff like that, maybe I could believe in that. And maybe the reason why they still there is because they was able to spread their seed. They wasn't being, you know, eaten every day or hunted every day for food because they couldn't leave where they was, or they didn't have knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they didn't have the plant sources that, or whatever gave them life. Maybe it was like taken away, because, like, say supposedly there's ancient trees that were chopped down, and they compare them, like, oh man, I really want to fucking share my screen so I can show these pictures, man. But I mean, for me, the ancient trees, what that does for me, that proves to me that maybe the trees were too tall for the goddamn for the fucking dome, you know, for the firmament. They had to cut them off for that reason. Like, okay, we're gonna cut these trees down so that we can build this dome. You know, what is the point of doing that? How the fuck do you even do it? Think about it. There's massive trees, or ancient great trees, almost everywhere on this planet. That means they had to go around, travel, cut them all down, like prepared. Like, this fucking place was prepared. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I sound like I'm fucking, like I'm going crazy right now, but it just, everything inside of me, like, it resonates. You know what I mean?
So it's like maybe they even use the trees, because the trees, these ancient trees, they're silicon based. So maybe they use the material from the trees to build the dome.
Right. But they say that the silicon was also ingested. So maybe they took the trees away not only to construct the dome because the damn trees were too high, but to also take away the life force, you know? And that's why they started eating meat. Remember last night when I was telling you about how certain animals eat other animals, but like we're not supposed to eat animals and we're not supposed to eat meat. It's bad for us. Like, what if it's bad for them too, but they have no choice, just like us? You know what I'm saying? And what if one day they was always eating silicone just like human beings, and once they chopped the trees down, the trees died, and there was no more silicone, and then
Hey, hold on. I don't can hear me. My shit's breaking up. I'm gonna jump in the call.
all right, cool.
Okay, pause the camera.
What do you think about that, Shaq?
Yeah, I mean, the theory makes sense. And it's just like the theory makes sense on a flat Earth perspective, at least. Especially when you look at the infinite plane and things like that. It's like it's like however life started, like however it started, like whatever it is, there had to be all these different types of people. And so with the power of choice, because we all know we have that because we make different decisions all the time. And so it's just like there had to be a point where people started fighting, and like, so there was people that were fighting all the time, and then there was people that like just didn't want to deal with the fighting. So yeah, like going out and leaving and going to different lands, and then keeping everybody that was fighting, keeping them all here that they can't so that they can no longer keep going and like mess up everything.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, like, that's just like I said. That's just my theory, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know for sure. You know, maybe for all we know, like we could just be test tubes. You know, maybe they built it just to test human beings, and our human beings maybe are just like the lower level of life, like as far as humans are concerned, you know, and where we're at, like in life and stuff, like. You know, I don't know. Like, there are so many possibilities. Um, I just feel like my theory would be one theory that I would have if I had the power to create a dome. I mean, it would be not the theory that if I had the power to create a dome, that would be the reason why. You know, and it's the only one that really makes complete sense to me until we find out on think about a different theory that makes maybe more sense.
And another thing that I just thought about is what if ice rings aren't to keep people in, but to keep other things out? Like, because when you look at the Antarctic treaties, so like we have people defending the ice wall like 24/7. So like, what if that's just to make sure like if anything does get over, that they have to be there to stop it?
Of course, that's exactly what it is. Oh, you mean like from the okay, not from people going out, but some stuff coming in.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, that's very possible too.
and then maybe
But I mean, like, but think about this though. If that's true, why would there ever be a treaty formed? They wouldn't be. They wouldn't need. It would need to be on a hush. So like, they wouldn't like publicly,
there
put
would
that
be
put that
they kind of
treaty.
bit on the hush, because if there's dangers that are greater than the dangers here, then they don't want to cause mass panic.
Yeah, true. That's true, and also true was true too. If they why they wouldn't say anything is that they don't want people to get curious. So like maybe they're saying, okay, well we have the treaty to to, you know, so that to protect them, so that nobody goes in. But really, like you said, like really, it's just to protect from what might come in. There have been stories about new species ever since like the ice wall started melting. There's been stories about new species surfacing, and they're saying that it might be coming from the ice walls, being that they're being thawed out and transferred or brought to these continents through the melting of the ice walls. So, like you said, maybe it is for like, you know, it's for those that come in, or may protect them from what comes in. But then, like, could those entities be like like good for us though? Like, could they be coming to try to save us? Like, I'm pretty sure they're already pushing the fucking alien narrative. Like, they're trying to like get people prepared for an alien invasion type shit. So like, if there was a threat from outside of the ice rings, wouldn't they want to exploit that to keep people from trying to like ever go there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, well, the confusing thing with people that believe in UFOs and shit like that, the confusing thing about it is like they say some aliens are bad and some aliens are good. So it's just like, how the fuck do you start with that?
Exactly. How do you ever know which one is good and which one is bad? Like, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, like how would you know? Like there's no way we have enough information to actually tell like which ones would be trying to hurt us or which ones would be trying to
And
help us.
you know how it's fucked up. You know how it's stupid. Why the alien shit don't work? Because how can you say that some aliens are good and some aliens are bad if you never met them, if you never met them, interacted with them, or studied them?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no way to tell. You can't never say that. You can't say, oh, some are good and some are bad. Like, no, nigga, like you don't know shit. Even if one
And
seems,
like,
even if the aliens were real and they only seem to study us, whatever, right? You don't know what they're studying for, what they're preparing for, you know, like nothing. So that's how you can tell aliens are fake. It's bullshit. You know,
yeah,
I don't believe in aliens one bit, and I used to. I'll tell you right now, I was the biggest alien believer, probably on the panel. But I don't believe in that shit no more.
that was me too, bro. Believe me, that was me too.
I wanted to believe in aliens because I wanted to believe that there were worlds greater than this one. There was stuff greater than being a human being. But when reality gets closer and closer and closer, you find out that, dude, you're way more powerful than some fucking stupid alien from what they say aliens are, would ever be. They can't even fucking talk. They say, oh, they don't need to talk. They can use telepathy. Well, that's some bullshit, right? Why the fuck would they not use their voice? You know what I'm saying? Like, they have it. They can still use it. You know, so if they don't make any type of sounds, they just speak telepathy. How do you know that? Are you telepathic? Did they speak to you telepathically? You know? People always get on fucking line and start talking shit. Oh, yeah, I got abducted. Right? Let's go to this TV show, talk about it. Let's go to that TV show, talk about it. And meanwhile, I could probably get paid off of this, you know? It's stupid, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, man. Every time you see a video of an alien, it's never in HD. It's always like they're in some fucking dark room, you know? Or it's nighttime, like all the time. They catch, oh, we just seen aliens. It's always dark, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've never, like, there are some videos of some aliens during the day, but they're like fucking highly questionable. Like, some of these fucking aliens, some of these things, like, they have colors. You know, they say like, oh, some planets have colors that you never seen before. Why is it that all the alien ships that you see online, they all have colors that we see before? You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All those colors, I could fucking name all those colors that they show you. You know, on
Like
the
you can't really say that there's a color that we haven't seen before because colors are just spectrums of light.
no, what I'm saying
There's
is
not a
that
lot of
what I'm saying is people will talk about all the other planets out there and say that there are different colors that you've never seen. And that's what they'll say. But then, like, my thing is that if that's the truth, then how come every single supposed um, ship we've seen with lights on it have lights we're all familiar with, colors that we're all familiar with? You know, even the electric blues and all the fucking, those are all colors of the earth. Like we've seen them before. You know. I don't know. Well, anyways, we both agree that aliens are not what they seem. They're probably not even real at all. So I don't know, man. Anything else you want to touch on? Check.
I'm thinking right now, like
Oh, okay, okay. No doubt, no doubt.
like
30 minutes. We got 30 minutes. We got Maya gonna pop up in here. Probably gonna go
oh,
over. Yeah, we're probably
so
gonna.
we could just like bullshit until then. So like well, it's like with my theory, like maybe Earth was flat, and then when we came into the third dimension, it turned into a sphere, and like so like all the different planets and whatnot, like they're just different. They're just like different 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 ice rings and shit. Like it's like so what made us what like I would think like what made us go into the third dimension and just like things like that because I feel like there's a lot more we can do spiritually with the globe model than we can with the flat earth model, and then that's just how I feel though.
My bad. I'm just trying to get my screen shared.
Oh, for sure. Because like we know like I'm not completely convinced that the earth is a globe, but I feel like there's good evidence for it.
Right.
And we can say like we can say these uh that these space agencies like they just keep faking shit, but in the end, like how can we really know?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. We'll never really know, bro. All I know is that what we can do is we can make the connections is to see like, okay, like what's fraud, what's not, and then try to like, put the paint the picture together. You know,
Because I swear to God that one SpaceX shit that I seen, like that was the craziest shit I've ever seen, bro. Like I know watching it on video, like that's one thing, and I understand like why a lot of people would say that shit is fake, like from watching it on a video, but like seeing that shit in person, like it's just like it's almost indescribable, kind of.
bro.
And the feeling too, like, and not just physically, but like just like spiritually, like the energy I fucking felt from that shit. It was
So let me
crazy.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You know, and this isn't a rhetorical question. This is a serious question. If you're living in 19, no, not 19. Let's you're living in 1718. Okay, the year 1718. All right. Now you know about the 1700s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you know about technological advances and where we was at back in those days, right? Basically, horse and buggy. Okay, candlelit, candlelight your house, wood to heat your home, no roads. I don't even think trains were invented. Were trains invented back then?
They were. There just wasn't any electricity.
So imagine you see a fucking airplane or a blimp in the 1700s, right? What the hell are you gonna think?
If I see a blimp,
A regular blimp that you and me both know exists today, that is just a fucking blimp that a man made.
that's not a good example. They have blimps.
Oh, it is a good. Oh, okay, that's not a good example. You're right. Okay, so let's just go back another couple hundred years then. 1500s.
Well, yeah. If I saw like a fucking blimp back in the 1500s, I would think like what the hell is that? You know?
Right. And the experience would probably be similar to the one that you had the other day when you saw whatever you saw in the sky. So the thing is like this, right? Technology, and you both, and you know this, you fucking know this shit. You know it just as well as I know you know it, that technology is ahead of itself in relation to the public. Like the tablets and the shit that we have today, all the technology that we have today was being tested and created years ago before it came out. You know, everything has prototypes, like we were saying yesterday. Everything has prototypes. So whatever you saw could have been something that had been worked on for a long time, and now they're just doing public testing. You know, and it's probably a prototype of some sort, whatever it is. Okay. We know it's not from space because we know space doesn't exist. Okay. The chances of it being man-made is 99% to 1. Okay. Space stations are not real. Spaceships replicated have US fucking tags on them. And if you was to see them from up above, you wouldn't know it was from the United States because it would just look like a regular dish-shaped UFO. But in reality, you know, they have developed the BF, the BF, the B6, I think it was called, or the B, whatever the fuck it's called. B2 bomber, that's what it's called. Sorry. Flies through the sky, bro. And they got stuff that's even way faster than that. You know, stuff that they won't even come out with publicly. So I say all of that to say this. It's okay to be at awe, and it's okay to be astounded, to feel like what you're seeing is something that you've never saw before and it has to be special. That's fine. That's everything with that is okay. And no one's will ever judge you for that because you're just a human being, just like me. And I'm pretty sure that if I wasn't thinking the way I think about things, I would probably feel the same way you feel. So don't take that away from me. But I will say this. You have done extensive research on deception and what it is, and not deception itself, but the deception within many subjects that we talk about. And I don't think that it's fair for you, for yourself, to just come up with any type of conclusion. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like, I'm giving you like the respect, and I'm trying to say this as classy as I can. But like, when you first talked about it, you said, you know what, that was definitely a rocket. And I think that this is what I remember. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You said, and I think the world is it's definitely a globe. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't think that. And there's a problem with that. You know, like, how can you dispel all of your, research? And that was my main point back then. And it's still my main point now, that even though whatever you saw looked magnificent to either you or anyone else, we still don't know exactly what it was. And just because the news says, oh, this is what it was a missile or whatever, yeah, that's fine. But we also know that the news stations lie. Like that's what they get paid for. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really take what they say as truth, and you can't really even it's not even worth watching the news. You know, it's not even worth I mean, it is for a second. Like it is just to see like their perspective on it. But to get what it really is, no, it's garbage. You know what I'm saying? You know, all you do is you just see. It's just an image. You're just seeing what it is. It doesn't mean that they're telling you exactly what it is. You know, what I see a fucking hologram. I still think it's a hologram. You know, especially when you say you didn't hear anything. You know, it had no sound. There was smoke attached to it. All that sounds like a hologram to me because holograms don't have sound and they need smoke in order to look real. And it was said that, you know, the planes that hit 9/11 were also hologram, but there was never any planes there. It was demo charged, which was demolition. And many people who do demo would like say the same thing, you know? So basically, bro, what I'm saying is like, I know it was amazing to you and I know it was like something that you will never forget. But it's not always what you think it is. Now, a couple years back, I was in California and I saw like what I said was a orb skipping through the sky. And when I first saw it, guess what I thought it was?
A UFO?
Yeah, I thought it was a UFO, and no one could tell me that it wasn't. It wasn't till years later that I figured out that that was maybe a orb traveling through the that wasn't just an orb traveling through the waters above. And the reason why it was skipping like that was because of the way it was able to move throughout the water. Like they say that in the water you're able to do things that you're not in the sky for some reason. So maybe, you know, and we thinking that, you know, they're up in the atmosphere flying, but really they're just in the waters above, floating around, you know what I mean? And the orb is like when you look up in the sky and you have a telescope or whatever, you know, you see flashing lights. It's never like what they show you in the CGIs. It's always weird looking. It's always like some flashing thing. Like you don't even know what it is. It's not even like you know what it is. It's just something there that's flashing. It's like a light or some sort. I believe that's what I saw, bro. I don't think I saw anything else other than that, you know. But back then, I would have told you it was a UFO, and the aliens are fucking real. They have to be because I saw a UFO. You know. I say that to say this, man. Like you just never know, you know.
We do have to be honest with ourselves, and it's like we gotta be honest. Both claims, like from the flat Earth side and the globe Earth side, like both claims just sound just as ridiculous as each other, you know?
Right.
And so it's just like just because something sounds ridiculous, we can't rule it out. And as far as saying that space doesn't exist, how do we really know?
Well, because of all the evidence proving that it doesn't. Like I said, I worked on cell phone towers. You know, like I know for a fact the connection that everyone thinks that they have doesn't come from outer space. I know because I fucking installed the shit. You know, so
but it's
right there for me disproves space. Not only that, Operation Fistbowl. Not only that, CGI images. Not only that, NASA whistleblowers coming out and exposing the truth about them. The production of the moon landing. When I say production, I mean like fucking full-fledged production. Okay, now these motherfuckers really tried. Like they had so many resources to try to get this damn thing done because of taxpayers' dollars. Okay. So yeah, I never been on out on a spaceship going out to space, and you know what? I probably never will because they have these people that supposedly died on a mission living today. Okay, I'm pretty sure you've seen that on YouTube. you know, I'm pretty sure that you know. I'm pretty sure that you've seen that video, right? You've seen that, right? I mean, I wish I could screen share so I can show you. There's a bunch of astronauts that supposedly died on a trip, and they didn't. They actually didn't. They're actually working regular lives, doing regular jobs right now.
You're talking about the Challenger spacecraft.
See, there you go. So you know about it. So come on, man. You know?
Well, it's just like none of us have really been high enough to disprove it. Like I think the only way
Okay, but
that
we
we can
just talked
say that
about.
it
Listen,
won't
we
exist for sure is if
just talked about them faking this the moon landing. Though, like, of course, of course that's going to be true. Of course, we can never prove it. You know what I'm saying? But what we can prove is what
that
they tried to prove, and we can disprove it, which means that what there could be no space. If we can disprove something that they're trying to prove, then how is what they're saying that is real real?
Like here's the thing, like them faking it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that they themselves haven't been able to go.
Okay, why? When you say okay, so when you talk about how you know you can taste a honey bun without actually tasting it, but because you only experienced it, you can taste it. So how can they sit there and talk about space and all that stuff is something that only came up into their mind? They're only trying to materialize it, but you can't because it's fake. It's bullshit. You know, so whatever they gave us as to proof or why they believe or why space could be real is bullshit. You know, which furthermore leads you to believe that space doesn't exist. You show me a true CGI of a globe, and I'll give you all the money I have in my bank account. I mean, you show me an image that's not a CGI of a globe, I'll give you all the money in my bank account. You know? So, I mean, I'm not confident.
It's like the other thing I told you, like, as far as the physical goes, like from times that I've astral projected, bro, and just shit like that, it's just like not once have I seen the earth flat and just infinitely going. Every time I astral projected, I'd go up high, 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 like really fucking high. And I'd see it as the globe, like, and so it's like I don't count that as proof. I know that's not proof. But I don't think anybody could tell me that I haven't actually astral projected, you know?
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is when you astral project through through your mental strength, like through the confines of your mental, like what you see and shit. Like, so like, you know, you've spent your whole life, your main life, and like I said, like you're still not convinced. Like, so what if your mind, your reality that's shaped up in your head allows you to construct a fucking globe when you astral project? Because like basically, like when you're astral projecting, it's the same thing as dreaming. Because when you dream, you know, you're essentially you're in a whole new world, right? And you're like really there. But it's the world that you create inside of your own head. You know, it's not doesn't mean like you'll say all the time, you know, this place is spiritual. I mean, like you're a spiritual being having a human existence. So if you could say that, right, you can also dispel the structure. Like you don't have to agree with, or you don't have to be in the middle. You can look at things for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And what it is the proof is in the pudding, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I actually risked my life to give random people that I don't know cell phone service. And those same people are being told that they can go anywhere in the world and get cell phone service because of satellites, which is fucking bullshit. Okay. So with that being said, Yeah, you can sit there and talk about your astral projection. Nobody can tell you that when you asked your astral projection experience wasn't real. Yeah, that's fine, but it was real to you, and it was real. Like your depiction or what you see in your mind's eye is only what you see in your mind's eye. So you mean to tell me that if I never understand the concept of a globe, never see a globe in my day of my life, I'm stuck in a black room and I never get to see anything, what anything looks like. How can I ever construct a reality outside of my own through dreams if I never really see anything or know what anything is? Everything will just be one blank canvas, black canvas. I would just have no character or anything. You know what I mean? So the fact that
Your experiences is what is what we know.
right. And so I'm trying to explain the fact that just because you astral project and you see a globe doesn't mean that that's what it is, because you're astral projecting. You're going into an alternate reality that only exists within you, doesn't exist within everyone else. Or just because of your experience, you can't really say that when we're in this physical plane and I'm fucking climbing up 200 feet poles and installing fucking these stationary basically overgrown internet routers, okay, and they're calling it satellites, saying that you get the stuff from space. I have a problem with that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I personally risk my life to fucking get people cell phone service, and for them to go around and say, "Oh yeah, this is just you go travel anywhere, you're gonna get service because of the satellites." No, bro, it's not real. It's not true. Then you look at everything else, Operation Fishbowl, like all the obvious signs that we don't live in a globe, like, or on a globe, as what they like try to say, and there's nothing that anyone can do to take me away from that. I cannot be in the middle because of the overwhelming evidence, like you yourself, for a fact that you can prove that the earth has a horizon. Fuck, you know what? Fuck you. Not fuck you really, but you know what I'm saying? Like, forget your opinion. Forget your opinion. There are fucking pilots out there who will tell you that the earth is flat. Pilots.
I know too.
There are people who travel on the seas, captains, shipmates. They'll all tell you that the earth's flat.
Have y'all met Skyfly Bry and Marlena?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two pilots that at first, I didn't believe it, but I mean, it was a live stream where she literally was in an airplane and she was and pulled the mechanics of the gyroscope out, pulled it right out, the whole what you call it, the whole little device thingy, whatever it's called. It's not like electrical device, it's the gyroscope.
She
pulled the instruments out and showed us that there was nothing digital, there's nothing, it's completely mechanical shit, and therefore that's more proof that it is a flat plane. I mean, because that means they would have to keep putting their nose down, but they don't if we live in a ball.
Exactly. And there are so many other facts to it, and I understand why, Shaq, you would be in the middle, because you want the truth. That's how you feel. You don't want to be bamboozled. You don't want to be, stuck on one side of the fence and the whole time be wrong. I get it. I fucking understand you to the fullest extent. But what you can never do is dismiss something that is so fucking obvious. You can never dismiss something that somebody else that says the earth is a globe cannot disprove. You get what I'm trying to say?
Like the fact that water maintains its level.
Right. There's no globist that can sit there and tell you how it works on a globe model, but a flat earther can, So you can never go with those who are trying to disprove something, but they can't, and then still at the same time not be for the people who are being challenged, but yet can prove something that cannot be disproved by the opposite by the opposition. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the reason why nobody can sit here and tell me that the Earth is a globe. You know, there are just too many assholes out there that stray away from the evidence and don't want to get into it.
There's too much actual, factual, irrefutable evidence that it's not a globe.
Right.
And all they have is theoretical, ideas saying that we live on a globe. Every time they started off, it started off as it was a ball basically, right? And then when we were able to debunk that through what is it? I think geometry, right? Whatever, the one that with all the shapes, whenever they can do the calculations and get the diameter from NASA and debunk the fact that the 8 inches per mile squared, right? So once we debunked that shape, then they went to an oblate sphere where we debunked that too. And so now they went to a pair.
Yeah.
Because the shape is off, like all crazy. No one could exactly try to disprove it. That's the only reason why they came up with the pair now.
But not only that, okay, my ear's about to join too. But not only that, I mean, like, come on, dude. Like, they say it's a pair, but they'll still give you the CGI globe. Where's the CGI pair? And how come that's not being massively put into the history books? Like, they don't care. You go to history books, they're not going to, in the history books of today, they're not going to say, oh, it's a pair, but we don't have the pictures of the pair, so we're just going to give you this globe. No, they just give you a globe. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like, it's just a bunch of fuckery. Like,
it's just like how I see it. It's just like whether you believe it's an infinite plane or whether you believe like it's a globe and the universe is infinite, it's like either way, it's the same shit. Like it sounds like
not exactly the same.
It really does. Like if you say Earth is an infinite plane and there's different ice rings, that's the same thing as saying that there's an infinite universe and that there's
not everybody thinks it's an
why is that the same?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's people that believe in the dome, where that we're in a closed system.
Why is it the same, Shaq? I just want to know why.
Because just listen to it, bro. It's just basically taking the flat Earth infinite plane model. It's like taking the infinite plane model and then just changing it into a 3D model.
Right. So what you're saying is that they took kind of like how they did religion and just made it from one thing and then put a little bit of extras on it and made it their own, like the 360 revolution or calendar, and then add the 5 on it. Now it's their own. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, like pretty much just switched it up, just switched up the story,
Oh yes, definitely. And that's why I think that the stories of aliens, that's where it came from, like, because like what you said earlier kind of like resonated with me a little bit because of the whole alien thing. Because you said, well, what if it was from keeping things out, and what if those things that they're keeping from those beings that they're trying to keep out are actually trying to help us, and but you never know. You never really know. But what you do know is deception. You do know the deception. You do know what is being told to you is a lie. That's one thing you can do. But with religion, within every religion, and everyone can tell you this, within every religion there's some form of truth. So maybe you're right, bro. I think you're onto something, because maybe there is some form of truth in what you're talking about.
As far as what, keeping shit out, or the other thing?
Keeping shit out, but trying to, when they're talking about one thing, but they really mean another.
Yeah.
Like with the ice walls and like the whole concept of space and shit. Like what you were saying with the planets and stuff. Like, what if the planets are really just other continents?
Flat Earth is just a 2D model of that. Like if we're really honest with ourselves, all it is a 2D model.
But it's 2D because is it only 2D because back then in ancient times they was only able to create in 2D because they only understood? that. Like,
I just missed what happened. What did he say? Something about 2D? What?
yeah, he was saying that the flat Earth model is a two-dimensional model, but I'm
No,
saying
it's
that,
not. It's just it's a flat plane, and you have mountains. I mean, you still
yeah,
got mountains. You still got the hills. You still got everything's still there.
right.
It's just
Is
on
that
a
Be honest.
flat
If
surface
you're
rather
sitting
than
on
being.
if you're sitting on an airplane and you're looking down, it's two-dimensional, bro. Looking from a bird's eye view, it's two-dimensional.
that's not
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that is exactly 100% what it is. Because as soon as you get to the ground level, it's not two-dimensional. It's three-dimensional.
right.
So then what's under? What's under? What's
Reality,
above?
reality, man. You got to put reality. You can't just say, "Oh, this is two at the flat Earth is two dimensions." Like when you look at flat Earth on a map, yeah, it's two dimensions because you can only draw a two-dimension map.
Exactly.
A map as two dimensions, because if you was to draw a map as three dimensions, you know how huge that map would have to be, how detailed it would have to
That's
be.
what I mean.
You would have to put every
That's,
single mountain. Listen, you would have to put every single mountain, every single thing on a third dimensional map, bro. It's not like you can't look at a third dimensional map.
I mean,
The
you can
same
look at
way
it just like the globe. The globe isn't a three-dimensional map, is it? You don't see every little tree and mountain and every little thing on it.
not at all. It's the same view as you're saying it too, from bird's eye view to the ground. That's it.
A map is just a map. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, the best way I've always explained things is like, why is it that every time, back before GPS was around, when you need to go somewhere, you go to a gas station, you pick up a map, and guess what? It was on a flat piece of paper. You didn't go buy a little ball to go follow where you're supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get a half sphere or a half oblate spheroid or pear shaped thing to know where to go.
Let me
You
tell
had
you
a
something.
flat map.
Let me tell you something. You know why you know the Earth is flat, bro? Because your eyes are what? Spherical, right? Huh?
yeah.
Okay, so think about this. Ready? If the Earth was a globe, okay, your eyes. The reason why your eyes doesn't see as far as it can, like on a zoom on a camera, is because it's spherical. Like, and then like you guys think like, because not you guys, but globers, like they don't understand the fact of the point of perception. Like, just because something vanishes at a vantage point doesn't mean that it's curving. Because if it was curving, then you wouldn't be able to see that image after a while. You know what I mean? And the curvature is in your eye. It's not on the it's not on the plane itself. You know, that's the whole thing with the fish eye lens and shit. Like it's the same thing. It's the same concept with your eyes. You know, you're not even able to see. Your vision is so limited. You know, like that's why they say to see auras, you have to look at the side of your eyes. You can't even look at auras directly. You know, so there's all types of perception that is invisible, visible. Okay, so you got to remember that your eye is very limited. Cameras technology.
Also though, about the eye, like you're saying, is that yeah, it's like it's spherical, right? But if you actually look into the eye, that is like a shell covering it. It's actually flat.
Hmm.
What you actually visualize, detail and depth and everything is actually flat.
But what I'm saying is like it is exactly like the pupil, right?
Yeah, the pupil and everything around it, all that is actually flat in it, but it's completely encased in a spherical,
Right.
Whatever you call the eye,
And that sphere gives you like okay, if not for nothing, right? But when your perception is, when you look out and your perception, it is kind of like a circle. Like the grand perception is like a circle. You know, like
Well, our eyes are just spherical so that we can move them around our sockets.
exactly. But
right.
and yeah, exactly.
But when you're looking out of them, bro, it still has an effect because it's a sphere. Is what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah, because it has that curve because of that. It being like you're saying, it's being spherical because it can turn and look, and that is the same curve that you would get from a fisheye lens or looking out of an airplane window that has a fuselage style compressed like a pressure chamber, because when you're certain airplanes at certain heights, you know, they actually have to pressurize it to how life would be on the surface because they couldn't really breathe up there, you know. So they have windows that are bent, kind of with the edges bent inwards, right? That would distort your image when you're looking out the window. Where people say that they say, "Oh, I see curvature in an airplane." No, you seen a fucking bent window.
Right.
Well, that doesn't. Well, I don't really agree with that because every time I go on a plane, I see a flat horizon.
Well, it depends though. I mean, have you been like, what kind of airplane was it? Because like, there's been times, like I've been in one where it's
I've been on 747s.
747s. I was on a 767 United Airlines before, like they really fell out. I mean, they're still around, but they fell out like big time. But
When
I
I
was
went
on
to when I went to Hungary when I was 13, that was a double decker, bro, and the horizon was still flat.
I mean, really, it's
It
the
was
way they
one of those
design
big
it, you
jump. It
know,
was like
because
one of those
I know the
big jumbo jets.
767 did have the one I was in. It did have a curved window, like no doubt. Like when you're sitting on the air on the airstrip before ever taking off, you can look down at the lines on the runway, and they're curving.
There's a that the windows, they're not even windows like you think they are. They're very strong material that is like windows, but they're not glass like you think.
They're what the fuck is it called?
Not
Can I think of it?
plexiglass.
No.
It's something else.
It's way stronger than that shit.
But the distortion of it's going to be in that. You know, it's there because there are different chemicals inside. It's not crystal clear, transparent. You know what I mean? There are different properties inside of that window to make it strong as it is to handle the pressure up there and to keep the warmth inside and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like from being up there in those freezing cold temperatures. So we can't really go with that. But what we can do is, I guess we can go with what you said, Shaq. You know, every time you went in a plane, you've seen a flat surface because you've seen a horizon. Same thing with me. I mean, I've been in a bunch of planes all the time, seen a flat horizon. You know, and what you don't know though is that there are different airplanes, and different airplanes have different plans, blueprints. So
All the fuselages are cylinders, though. That's not something we can deny.
all the what?
They're all cylinders.
The body of it, right? The body of the
body of the plane, that's
plane.
all cylinders, bro.
Right, exactly. No, you're right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which plane you're in. The only plane that isn't the only planes that aren't cylinders and shit like that are the big ass bombers you see, the big ass
Right, but it's like who cares because
or the like
the Earth,
or
right?
like the little Cessnas and shit like that. But all the
The
commercial jets, those
767
are all
is similar to like the cylinder shape, like you're saying, but they're a little different in the curve.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the Earth. We're not
it
talking
doesn't
about
matter because either way there's a curve. Like if there was a curve, the
Dude,
image
I mean,
would have to
I'm telling you straight up. I was in this fucking airplane, looking out the damn runway window. I'm looking out the window at the runway, and the fucking shit was curved.
You know where?
And in the air, it was curved. But it's
Yes.
just the type of airplane it was. It was the 767, and the way they designed those, and they stopped designing them that way. They don't do it anymore because apparently there was some problem with it.
What do you mean? No, because planes are still. We still have the same planes that are from the fucking 60s and shit. Still use the same one.
All right, we're not going to talk about planes anymore because this is ridiculous. But the whole point is that different planes are made up with different parts and different windows, and that's what it is. Okay, whether you want to believe it or not, it's just what it is. Who cares about a cylinder? Whatever. The Earth seems to be flat, okay, because of what you see out of a window, and then the Earth appears to be round because of what you see out of a window of a fucking plane. You know what I'm saying? There's different planes, there's different models of the Earth, there are different minds out there. People have different perspective. People see things different. It's just like that dress that was going crazy viral online. Some people saw blue, some people saw gold and black. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's all about the perception of the eye. You know, also when it relates to what they're looking at. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't really matter, bro. You know, like we want to get to a conclusion here. We don't want to go debate.
I got something. Look, I got something for you right here.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Let me get to it.
Come on. And my girl got some questions too. She wants to ask a little bit whenever you guys are ready.
Load up it again.
Yep, looks spherical.
Now, do you see that?
Yes.
That's what I was talking about.
Yep.
And it also means that the angle, because some, like I said, some airplanes, the way they were designed, and I noticed that they don't really do it like that anymore. If you're at a certain, like the double decker you were saying, some of them had where at the top part, the upstairs of the double decker, that's where it started to curve. The fuselage started to curve, inwards to meet towards the roof. You know what I'm saying? So that means the windows would be kind of angled in a weird angle. So when you were looking down out of the window, it would create that fisheye lens look of a curved Earth, which didn't mean it was a curved Earth. And that's all I was saying. That's all, I've seen it personally like that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man.
God damn! Choked on a piece of blood. God damn. All right, back to the show. So Shaq, Diesel, I want to ask you a question. Shaq?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, bro. I want to ask you a question. Do you feel a little bit closer to a decision after this brief conversation about flat Earth opposed to globe Earth?
Honestly, bro, no.
What would it take for you personally, without any ridiculous, like don't give me the answer like that's like crazy ridiculous, but without this answer, what would convince you it's flat? Like without like saying, oh, as if God comes and tells me himself. Don't give me an answer like that.
Stop being on the fence. Yeah.
What would help you?
Put my ass on a rocket and see how far I can get, bro.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That's the problem with that one.
Yeah, so like I was saying, don't give me ridiculous answers. I want to know real, like come on, like really think about like some reality type shit. Like you're not gonna get on a rocket. You're not gonna go and figure this out. First of all, you don't have the funding for it right now. Probably won't, because even if you did, have the funding for it, do you think that they will allow you to do that? No.
No, they'd probably kill my ass, but that's something I'd be ready for. Like, just for me personally to know, like, I wouldn't care. But all ridiculous answers aside, so since that's being considered a crazy answer, I'm just gonna go ahead and admit and be okay and just accept the fact that I'll never possibly fucking know.
I got mad respect for
That's
you.
how I see it.
I got mad respect for you.
This might help a little bit. What do they call it? I can't think of how the fuck you call it. Well, basically where the sun is shining through the clouds, right? And you have that triangulation of the rays, right? And according to the heliocentric model, they tell us that the rays, by the time they come to us, because the sun is 93 million miles away, by the time those rays come to us, they are completely parallel, right? Completely. They're not curved in any way. So when they're beaming through, when they're beaming through the clouds, they get bent from a light source that's 93 million miles away. It couldn't get bent like that. Any hole that would be going through the clouds, it would just beam straight down, unless the light source was actually closer.
I get all that. I get all that. Like I know about the flat Earth model. Is like because I was a flat Earther.
Oh really?
We can't forget that. Like I was, like there was a time I was a full-fledged flat Earther. But so we have a lot of flat Earthers that are pilots. Why hasn't any of them tried? why hasn't any of them tried actually flying through the sun then at that point?
Because I got jobs, nigga.
Oh, I mean, not just that, but you gotta remember, like, even if they did try to show the proof of it being a flat Earth, you gotta remember this is their job, that's their career, and they're probably sworn to not say certain things, or if you think these certain things, or you start to sound crazy, well, you're gonna be fired. You're never gonna be able to get a job flying airplanes ever again.
There's also people with their own planes, though.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but ain't nobody. But ain't nobody gonna own a 767 or a 747 taking the highest flights.
Let me tell you something. You cannot sit here and ask these ridiculous questions without thinking about what you're asking, because what you're doing, right? And this is all due respect, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. What you're trying to do is you're trying to prove something without actually asking yourself, should I ask this question? Okay, because you're saying, why don't people with planes themselves just go there? First of all, don't you think they know they're gonna get shot down? Okay. Second of all, if
flying through the sun.
Listen, let me
that's like I have to maybe getting shot down trying to go to the North Pole or past the ice ring. But
what do you think is gonna happen? You think that they just you think that they're just patrolling at the North Pole? Nigga, they're probably everywhere all around the ice ring.
So they're patrolling the sun too. They're up there patrolling the sun because I don't ever see anything up there by it.
Weather balloons. They have weather balloons up there monitoring everything.
I don't see weather balloons up there by the sun. That's what I'm saying. I don't see that shit.
Oh, by the sun.
You gotta remember, you only see as much as what you can see with your naked eye. You ain't got a camera that's like 22,000 times stronger than a P900 everywhere you look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not going to see those weather balloons.
Speck. You ain't going to see a little.
You're not going to see.
That's like saying I can't trust my eyes. That's like saying that I can't trust my eyes.
We're talking about
you got to trust your eyes.
We're talking about a great distance, though. We're talking about.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a weather balloon, Shaq?
I have seen
like no, I'm talking about with your own eyes.
Up high or a weather balloon when it's down low, because I have seen it.
Oh, you have? I haven't seen a weather balloon in person.
All right. Well, you know what? We're not gonna get a straight answer. This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna explain why.
I'll leave it.
We're gonna explain, Shaq. We're gonna explain why a voyage like what you're talking about is stupid. Not only is it stupid, and I'm not saying you're stupid, but think about this. Right now, in these times, to take a plane and to try to go and figure out what's beyond the ice rings is crazy, because number one, you will be shot down without question. Number two,
that's not what I said, though.
Listen, dude, this is the reason why you don't understand concepts, because when someone's talking, when they're trying to explain something, you're not even listening to them. You're thinking about what you want to say next. So if
I didn't see going past the ice ring, though, that's not what I said. That's not the voyage I brought up.
What I'm trying to explain to you is that when they travel out, and they tried to discover other lands or wherever they want to go, whether it be the North Pole or anywhere else in the circumference of the ice ring, okay? Wherever they go, they will be challenged and shot down. Number two, the resources and gas. Where are you going to find gas once you get past a certain point? You know what I'm saying? And then how much weight can you hold on your plane of gasoline in the first place that's not going to be inside of your tank? You know, that you need to refill with. And third of all, like food, like these are all things that come into play. You can't just make the voyage out there and
have it rigged so that you
so then how far?
Because you can't, like you said, you can't take. You ain't gonna. Where are you gonna pick up the jet fuel? Where are you gonna pick up more food? Where are you gonna be able to?
So then, how far is the sun then exactly at that point? Because I said flying through the sun, because in a flat Earth model, the sun is not a solid object and it's not a big spinning ball of fire.
Well, no, so first of all, that's to whatever way you look into that flat Earth model. Nobody knows 100% exactly what the flat Earth model is. I just know without a doubt that the sun and the moon are local. They're not fucking 93 million miles or.
So then, if they're local, that must mean we would be able to reach them, right? We would be able to reach them.
No, because okay, if there was a firmament, right? If there is a firmament, it would be within the firmament, because that's what it seems and appears to be. So how the hell are you gonna get to it? How the hell are you gonna get to it anyway?
That's my point.
My point was
No, they're
within
in the
it.
dome.
They're within the firmament
Yes,
itself.
so we should be able to reach them. Yes or no?
No. We are inside of the dome, and then you have within the dome, like, okay, picture there, you have a layer, right? And then you have the sun and the moon inside that layer, and then there's another layer on top of that one enclosing it.
That's not the flat Earth model I subscribe to, though.
I mean, but you don't even believe in believe in the flat Earth anymore. So I mean,
I did.
maybe that's
I'm
probably
just on
why
the
you
fence. Like,
lost it.
I'm just on the fence because now you're looking at me like I'm a globalist. Like, no, I'm not a globalist. I'm a flat earther. I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's
I
different
always
shit.
look. Yeah, see, that's my point. It's like I don't say any specific a flat Earth map is the right or this style or that style, because there's no way we'll ever be able to figure that out. First of all.
So then that's what I'm saying. There isn't shit that we could figure out unless we try them. And if we're not gonna try them, then we're never gonna fucking know.
But the things that we can try, right?
And that's why I say it doesn't really matter.
Like, yeah, it does matter because they're telling us we live on a ball when we know that water maintains its level. And this
but we can never really truly prove it. We can never really truly prove it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Go take. You can try it whatever way you want. You can take a ball, put it into a vacuum chamber, and suck the vacuum chamber with a mercury meter and get it just to where they say the specs of space is, and then you can spin that ball and pour water on it, and it's still not going to stay on. It's still not going to stay on the surface of the damn ball. And then, like I said, the conscious science community, they say that it's the what you call it, the spinning of the Earth itself, right? The centrifugal force is what causes all the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of gallons of water to stay on to the Earth, right? But then
I'm talking about as far as which model for the flat Earth. I'm talking about as far as which model for the flat Earth is the right one. I'm not talking about to prove. I'm not talking about
equidistant at the most. However you say that one. I don't think that
I'm just talking about.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but what I'm getting at is that there's no way probably we'll ever be able to, because those people that are in charge probably have that shit hidden so damn deep we'll never fucking get our hands on it. We'll never know 100%. We have things that are pretty close to it. What do you mean? What's the point? The freaking the masses are being misled and lied to about bullshit.
James already knows this about me, though. I could care less about the physical. I'm more worried about the spiritual. I try looking at the spiritual aspects of things, because the more and more we keep on trying to look at the physical aspects of things, the further and further from answers that we get.
Yeah, but you do realize that it's kind of sound. It does kind of sound like a not selfish, but like a self-centered kind of view.
It's one.
I'm not saying you are, but that's how people would. That's how people would look at that.
Hey, Shaq. It's one-sided, Shaq. And you know what? And I know I respect that about you, because I'm spiritual too, bro. But at the same time, to be spiritual means to respect the physical and to understand the physical as well as the spiritual. Because, yeah, you could say that, well, screw the physical, it really doesn't matter what happens here because I'm really just a spiritual being that goes with, living without fear, like fear of dying, like from like some freak accident or some shit, or just somebody killing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But that has nothing to do with but that has nothing to do with understanding your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Because when you understand your surroundings, you understand yourself. Because if you're one with everything, right? Like you say, if you're one with everything, why should you be so ignorant and say, and I'm not calling you ignorant, but I'm just saying, like, in general, why should one be ignorant and say, okay, well I'm all about the spiritual.
Why even question any of it in the first place then?
And yeah, because then you shouldn't even be here on this panel if, to talk about flat Earth or globe Earth. You should just be like spiritual Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like spiritual world, like living there, like, and like anything that has to do with the physical wouldn't even concern you. So you wouldn't even be thinking about, the debate within your own mind, whether it be a globe or a flat plane if you was truly focused on the spiritual. So a part of you wants to focus on the physical because you're a natural being and you naturally want to know what's really going on. But your ego is like, no, I want to be all about the spiritual, forgetting that you somehow keep on talking about flat earth, globe earth. And you were amazed the other day when you seen that rocket and you was like, oh, yep, I seen the rocket, it's definitely a globe. You know, and whenever you
But it's just like what you're saying is like, because like what you guys were just saying, like, and I completely understand. It's like going past the ice ring. Like, yeah, it's not gonna fucking happen because people are gonna shoot us down.
right.
I understand that part, but what's the what like?
And that's if you believe in
What's the fucking like? What's the fucking point? What's the fucking point? Like, where are we gonna get? Where are we gonna get if we're too fucking scared to die? It's gonna have to fucking happen, right? We're gonna have to get shot down.
I mean,
But as long as we know the truth, after like, because we'll find out the truth before we get shot down,
Bro, you're not.
and that's all that really matters at the end.
You're not gonna fly the plane. I know for a fact that you personally will not.
That's anti-species.
You know what I mean? You won't fly the plane because you know exactly what it is that would happen. So you're not gonna fly the plane. You won't.
But there's a bunch of other flat earthers that have the capability of flying planes. Yes or no?
No, there's a bunch of flat earthers that will kill people first that are protecting the rings and then take the journey.
You gotta remember, man, the journey to go
exactly.
there.
That's the
only
sad,
a certain
shit about it. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the sad shit about it. We could talk about flat Earth, globe Earth all we want. Like we could talk about what different journeys we would have to take. We could talk about what we have to explore, but if we're not actually gonna fucking do it, then why are we talking about it?
Because we can do it, bro. Let's talk about this.
Well, we don't do it. We can do it, but all we do is talk about doing it. We don't actually do it.
Listen, bro. Listen. Okay. We was just the other day. We was just talking about the Holocaust and reparations and reparations and the long-term planning. Okay. So you mean to tell me that these motherfuckers who control us can plan over 6,000 years and rule over us, and we can't just sit here and stop doing some planning ourselves to plan for the future, to talk our kids? So, okay, this is the journey that we have to take. You're telling me that we can't do that when they already did it, and then right now proves that it fucking worked for them?
They've been ruling us, yeah, but they've been ruling us over fear.
You're not even.
And by saying that we're not gonna, and by saying that we're not gonna. And by saying that we're not going to take these journeys because of the fear of them shooting us down, then we're just letting the fear rule us.
Listen, you're not even listening, dude.
You're really
not. You're really not.
To me, I was the same way though. Hold on, I was the same way, Shaq. Before I had kids, I wasn't worried about nothing like that. And I completely changed. I never wanted to have kids. I never wanted any of this. When I ended up having kids, my whole conception of life itself changed. I want my kids and every other people's kids, their futures, to actually be better than ours, because ours is shit and it's getting worse and worse and worse with these people that are in control.
Well, I can't say anything about that because I don't have kids. I'm never going to have kids.
Well, that's what you.
And I'm pretty sure there's other
never know
that don't have kids.
You can never say.
What are you defending?
Never.
You're defending. You're defending something, Jack. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I love you. Okay. So when I'm telling you this, man, I mean it. All right. I love you. All right. But what you do, okay, is not right. And I'm gonna tell you what you do. And this is from the bottom of my heart, man. Now you can continue to do what you're doing. That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you what you do. You speak with defense because you feel like you're not understood. Okay, and that's not. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're talking to a bunch of people right now that are already like you, have been like you for a long time. Okay, you're 23, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have been like you for a long time, and you will probably be greater than us because you're so young and you're
already addressing these things. Exactly.
Okay? So you have to understand that if you really want to be like a student, you really want to learn things, you're gonna have to just buck up, shut up, and as harsh as it sounds, that's exactly what you're gonna have to do, because we're trying to explain some shit to you because we're taking this energy out of us because we want not only for you to understand, but for the viewers too, because like out of your frustration and your argument comes a lot of questions that people have too. Like you represent
Y'all know, y'all know I understand about the.
Check. This is the reason. See, this is what you do. Someone's trying to talk to you, and I do it too. But the thing is like this. I'm trying to really explain something to you, man. Like
you're making claims that aren't true.
I'm
That's the
making
thing.
claims that are very true.
Guys
That we
know.
go back and forth, man. Like, listen, man. We're trying to. Okay. For instance, we're sitting here and we're talking about, being prepared, and we were just talking about kids, and Danny went into to talking about kids, and instead of hearing him out, you automatically went into defense mode, and you said, well, I only don't think of that because I don't have kids, and there are plenty of flat earthers out there that don't have kids.
Yeah, and
fuck that. Who cares?
Said that I'm not gonna have kids. I said the same fucking thing. I'm not gonna
celibate,
have kids.
bro.
Yeah,
I'm celibate for life. That's how I know I'm not gonna have.
This is what I was telling you that one day after I got hurt so many times by these dumbass bitches out there and shit. I did not fuck with no girls. I didn't do nothing. I didn't even have no attention to them.
It's not because I'm hurt. It's not because I'm hurt.
I understand that. I was done though. I was completely done with it. I wasn't worried about it at all. I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find what my purpose was. Right?
I take my vows. And then you have to help. You have to understand me to understand. You have to understand me though to understand why I would say.
You have to also understand the rest of flat earthers as well.
I understand the rest of flat earthers. Like yes, I do. Like I know exactly what you guys are talking about. I know this.
All right.
You can't tell me I don't understand because I put in as much research as you guys. Like I put in the research. We all put in the research.
No, that's fact.
That's something that I know.
Shaq, we're not going to take that away from you, Shaq. We're not going to take that away from you. We're just going to move. Hey, we're not going to take that away from you, bro. We respect you. That's why you're here, bro. No one's going to boot you. No one's going to mute you.
No, you're not. I know you're not taking that away from me, and I'm not really trying to defend anything either, because like this is supposed to be a discussion, so we have to discuss these things.
So let's discuss the fact. Hey, man, you still there, bro?
I got one fact I like to say. The only aircrafts that can go to Antarctica are aircrafts that we cannot get as a citizen. We cannot get it.
So I think this all goes along with what we was talking about yesterday, like with a world without currency. We was talking about living without the means of ever having any type of currency traded amongst us, right? Like, so basically, why I say I'm making the connection with that is because, like I said, you're gonna need a lot of resources. You're gonna need a lot of people, more than just one plane. You're gonna need like jumbo jets galore. Like you're gonna need a lot. Like we're gonna need a whole bunch of resources in order to make that move beyond the ice rings.
To even go there,
it
requires C-17s, C-5 Galaxies, C-17, another one, a NATO heavy airlift. What else? That's pretty much the only ones that can go to that area.
It's gonna take hundreds of years of planning. It's gonna take a lot of planning. It's gonna take because like the adversity we face. Like we face. Like I said, we're like there's people who are afraid of getting shot down and shit, and that's because right now there are powers in place that won't permit us to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, right, is that let me just build real quick, bro. What I'm trying to say is that once we get to this point of where we are no longer in independence of this government that we live with, and we start to repair where we are now, and then gear up and start to prepare for that voyage. I don't think we'll be able to see that in our lifetime. But I think that it's very possible just due to the fact that there are, these elite had planned over thousands of years, like for our downfall, and look at how successful they've been. So, I mean, like, it's just energy, right? So like, if they can plan for this negative world to be successful and thrive for them, then we can also do the same thing, but just on the other side of the spectrum. I think it's very possible. When we talk about doing things now, um, it's very unrealistic. Like like I said, we'll get shot down. I mean,
To me, I don't see the point of even
I know.
worrying about trying to go to Antarctica. What the hell is that going to solve?
well,
We
no,
already know without a doubt
uh-huh,
that there's a evil ass fucking group of who knows what the fuck they are. They can be
I do.
goddamn aliens. They can be this or that, blah, blah, blah. Who knows what the hell they are? But all we know is that they're evil as fuck. And
yeah,
all they care about is greed, right? All we
right,
got to do is look around us and see GMOs and
right.
see, everything. But going to Antarctica, what the fuck is that going to prove? I mean, really.
Well,
I
it's
understand we want to find out
Well,
what
hold
the
on,
Earth
hold on,
is,
hold
what
on.
the flat Earth is, but we really need to, we need to worry about future generations, like we've been
I think
saying.
Mia got
Like I think where this misunderstanding came from is because James asked me the question like, what would it take to get me off the fence? And then when I answered, like, because like my honest answer with that is, well, if none of these things can be done, me personally, I'm never gonna get off the fence about that,
yo.
because if rather being on a rocket and getting into space, or as far as getting past the ice ring, then yeah, like
But you don't need
then
that to
yeah,
come
we're
to
never
your
gonna know if it can't be done. But going after like what you just said, Danny, like no, that doesn't make sense,
Hey, yo.
Wow.
because going past the ice ring, what that would prove is that there's more land past the ice
Yeah,
ring.
but
That's
what
exactly
does
what that would
that really solve for future generation, really?
Hey, yo. This.
It doesn't fix the powers that are at B that are taking control of everything. It doesn't do nothing for that.
Yo, Mia got
But
some.
that's only something that we could do once we get rid of the system
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
first.
we could. Yeah, if we did get rid of this system, yeah, I can agree with that. If we did get rid of that tyranny ass fucked up system that got us all unbound and basically in chains working every day, and just to give them $1 while they got their feet propped up on a damn recliner. Yeah, I mean we
But
could
it's
do
like
that.
we keep on bringing up the problems. We know about the problems.
I
We
think the
don't bring up the
priority should
solutions.
be
Like
the problem.
what are we gonna do exactly
Hey, yo,
to
Shaq.
get the system out of place? And we
Yeah,
can't just
I'll
do
read
it
it.
just by talking about it. We have to act on it.
Yeah,
Yo,
but the
Shaq.
masses, you have to be able to get the masses to also look and see it for themselves and realize, wait a minute, that is true, because you can start off with 10 people as flat earthers versus a million people. Where is everybody going to side with if they just walked up to the whole thing? Are they
Right.
going to side with the 10 people, or are they going to side with the millions that say it's like this?
Go ahead, man.
Once you get
Hmm.
the crowds, the masses amount of people, then people start to realize, wait a minute. And then they start to use the logical thinking. Then they open their eyes and realize, well, wait a minute, water does lay flat. How the hell do you have water on a ball? Well,
Hey,
how does a bird
then
fly?
we
How does a newborn baby move its arms when it was born? If there's this massive ass
Look.
gravity.
Here's the thing about
put
it.
that NASA funding into
Revolution.
something important.
Go ahead, man. Do your thing, bro.
Oh, my
Yo,
bad,
so you're
Shaq.
just gonna cut me off like that?
Bro, he was trying to talk and you cut him off. So let Mia speak, man. He hasn't got to speak yet, bro.
I was saying we could take that money NASA gets every day and put it to something that'll help out our generations in the future.
Exactly.
Because I used to live right down the street from NASA JPL, and there's homeless people walking around. And in the elementary school my daughter attended, where they should have had the top of everything, but they got the bottom of everything and treated like crap according to the Board of Education. Instead of NASA JPL had a facility right across from the elementary school my daughter attended, but the scores and everything and all those type of things that pertain to the future of our working class or just our people, period. There's no no in between or no helping the children to be focused on whatever NASA JPL and Lockheed Martin was right down the street. It was no support. It's like we're giving all this money to these people who tell us what things are and all this type of stuff, but homeless is ridiculous downtown LA.
Um,
They're showing us all these different things on Discovery Channel, but our health is crazy. Our elders are dying ridiculously. I've taken care of so many old people who are dying and got so many different diseases and all these different pills they're taking. It's like all these different things going on. We can really get a hold on this and really get a control of our own species, you know, and put into our own species instead of into these things. But that's just my whole little thing on it. It's just that redirecting our energy. More important than what the money's going to, it's the energy of the people. The people believing in things, this energy in that. When I get someone to believe that this thing means something that they can adhere to, they're going to use that. They're going to adhere to it, and they're going to tell their children. Their children are going to tell their children. Generations are going to follow a lie.
So on
Eventually,
and
we'll
so
be
on
where
and
we
so
are
on.
now. You
Right.
know,
The thing
we'll be
about
where we are now.
the
Fact.
thing about money is that who's controlling the money? The system's controlling the money. The money has no value to it. The money doesn't mean anything. We all know, like all of us here know, like money at the end of the day doesn't really mean shit. Like it has nothing to do about money because they control the money. And so as soon as they see that we're trying to use money to help out everybody, then what's gonna happen? They're just gonna kill us off. And what I was gonna say before all that is like revolutions don't start with the masses. Start with the masses.
But it doesn't
Revolutions
start
start
with
with the
one
few.
person though.
Revolutions revolutions start with the few who are actually ready to go out there and make that change and start that battle.
So go fly the plane then. Go see. Go.
That's what all I'm getting at.
Well,
Is that
revolts.
doing the plane thing with, say you got 5, 10 people and y'all go fly the airplane over there. Well, guess what? How the fuck you getting
Forget
back
about planes.
now?
Like
How you getting back? Because you ain't
forget about planes. Forget about planes. Forget about going past the ice wall. What
I
are we
thought
gonna
that's what you
do
was
to bring
getting
the
at.
system down exactly? We still have to
Well,
bring the
you gotta
system
remember
down,
the
and we can't do
masses.
that
When you
without
have the
fighting.
masses, yeah, you're right. You're right. But the masses, the big numbers of people. If you think about it, every single war in the past, every single civilization fell because of what they one
And more numbers than
civilization and another civilization. One of them had more masses than the other, and they took the other one out.
facts. Facts.
Saddam got taken down with 6 people, bro.
Oh my god.
Saddam got taken
Who?
down with six
That's
people.
not a civilization.
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
know about that one, Shaq. That's not true, Shaq.
And not
That's
just
not
that,
true.
not just
It
that,
took
that could have
his
been
family.
lies too, man. Who knows?
You're not.
I don't know about
Are
that,
you
bro.
Shaq or are you fucking ABC, CBN, fucking CNN? Who are you?
They lie to us.
What I'm
Oh,
saying is
come on, man.
it don't take a lot of people to kill someone, bro. It only takes one person to kill someone.
Oh my god.
You don't.
All right. So
We're talking about just masses. We're talking like look at it like this way. Rome versus Egypt.
What's
Look at it like
controlling
that.
everything,
That's
though?
what I'm saying.
The system is only being ran by a few people. It ain't being ran by the whole masses.
Actually, no, it's being ran by the
Yeah.
11 United Nations and the 50 nations that are signed to that.
let me tell you something. It is being
Yeah, but
Thank you.
who runs
Thank
the
you.
United Nations?
What
Who
do you mean?
runs the
Swiss.
United Nations?
Do you,
People that are
Swiss.
actually in
I can
power.
show you this right now. Let me show you
The
this right
people-
now. I'll tell you
Swiss.
exactly who is running this.
bro, you guys are all wrong. Y'all are all wrong. I'm gonna tell you who runs this. The masses run it, okay? The masses run it. Because without
Yeah, I'll
the
be
masses, it doesn't work. You
Well, yeah,
understand?
yeah. That's you're right about that.
The
Because
masses.
if the masses aren't working with it, then it doesn't work. Yeah, you're right. But
You
there
know
was
what?
someone that placed it that there was a group of people, or not people, but whatever the fuck, of individuals that came up with the idea to control the masses of the world,
Fact.
basically.
Fact though. You know what I mean? But without us, without the masses, you cannot get anything done, negative or positive.
Exactly.
If no one believed in what the government gave us, guess what? The government would have zilch power. Nothing. Nothing. So who runs everything? The masses run everything. Everybody that contributes to the lie, everyone that pays taxes, that votes, run this shit. They don't run shit. That's the reason why they're scared. That's the reason why they are afraid that's the reason why they keep back as much knowledge as they can. And they created NASA. They created the bullshit in Egypt. They created dinosaurs. They created all this like space concepts, planets, all that out of fear that one day they will learn the truth. The masses will learn the truth and fucking destroy them, obliterate them, because it can happen in a whole day, one day. That's all it would take.
And I really feel
So then
like
what is it? So then what is it? Can we do?
So let me say this right quick. I really feel like they didn't realize or ever come to think that one day into future times that we would ever have these things that we can have in our hand and zoom the fuck away in and see these things and just completely like, wait a minute. And then not just that, but you can go right back to the whole ball shit. The whole ball theory was way before NASA. 500 years before NASA was ever established. Like it's complete make-believe bullshit. It is.
So then
According
what?
to the
so then what
history that
is
is out there, you know, who knows if that history is even correct? But you know, we all like, you know, how you use the spirituality stuff. You go through history to find out the origins of this and that, you know. So you have to have some sort of belief in that, right? In that history that you've looked into. To me, you know, even if it's wrong, there is still always truth in some kind of false bull, you know, for example, like space. I'm sure there is truth about space, but what they say is space is, how come
But then, so what is it? So then, what is it? Can we do to get the masses to stop contributing to the system then? Because if it's the masses that are, because if it's the masses that's the only thing keeping the system in place, what is it can we possibly do? And it's like
you
I
realize
keep
if
on
you
trying to talk
got
about it. Like I keep on trying to talk about a solution. I keep on trying to bring up the spiritual solutions. The problem is that we never actually try to use them.
but the spiritual solution doesn't benefit every single person because you're not going to always influence every single person. But if you can influence people with things that they can see right in front of them,
Things that matter.
That's where I
then
disagree. That's where I disagree because you could change the physical through the spiritual. That's my whole thing.
No,
The system has no more power if we stop letting them take our energy, because the only thing that keeps them so powerful in the first place is all this energy that they keep taking from everybody.
okay.
But if everybody knows how to control their energy, even if just a few people know how to control that energy, they can no longer use that energy.
all right, look, how about this? This is a good example. What if everybody in the United States, right, just stop paying taxes completely?
Mhm.
Stop going to the damn store and stop paying that 6 cents of the dollar. They pay $1 for what they want. That's it. So that the store makes their money, the government can get fucked over. You can't tell me that's not going to hurt the government bad. That ain't going to hurt the people of power here. And if they did that all around this so-called globe or all across the plane, they're going to have to fall. They're going to have no choice because who are they controlling? Yeah, there'll probably be war.
They make the money. They know the money is fake.
The
They're not
money
worried
is
about
just
the
it's
money.
just a piece of paper. It's just a currency. People used to barter. Someone had this, and you had that, and like, yo, well, I'll
Exactly. And
trade you this for
who
that.
created that paper in the first place? The system did. They're not
Yes.
worried about the money. If people
Yes.
stop buying shit, they're not worried about that. That's not
If
what
they're
they're
not,
worried about.
listen, if they're not worried about the money, then why do they lie? Why is it Wall Street shows that we're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt to China and in all these other countries, but yet if you read the United Nations clause for the 11 United Nations, those 11 cannot
Yeah, but
have debt amongst each other. That means
what is the
China's one
bigger
of them.
thing?
So how the hell we have
Like,
debt for China?
what is the bigger thing that they keep from us? What is the one thing that they don't want us to find out? That we're spiritual beings that we're spiritual beings that are actually a lot stronger than they think that we actually think we are.
One
And if
thing
we actually are able to use our capabilities and shit like that, that's what they're worried about. They're not worried about money.
I mean, that's what
They can handle that.
that's your
It's not
point.
the money that they're worried about. They keep on hiding
It's the energy,
spiritual.
Shaq.
That man.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
not
the
to cut
energy.
you off, but
They keep
yeah,
taking the energy from us, and if they can't take the energy from us no more, then what is it? Then they really have no power.
right.
Because we keep on looking at physical ways. We keep on looking at physical ways to bring the system down. We can't bring the system down physically. We have to bring it down spiritually. Because
I just don't understand how it can be denied the fact that why is it that they tax this? Why is it that this and that is always constantly being raised? Why is it the price of living is completely fucked compared to 1950? You realize in 1950
hey,
the man can go work,
Because of the shit
right?
they've been hiding from us.
Hold
That's
on.
what.
No, because a man could go work back then, right? And he could provide a home and provide food for the wife and all the kids and have a multiple cars and living nice. And nowadays, and oh, by the way, that was on minimum wage. You can look this up.
yep.
That was on minimum wage, and now
Who
you
cares
try to do
about
it on.
cars? Though? Who cares about having nice cars? Who cares about
I
having
ain't
nice
talking about
homes? I
nice
don't care
cars. We're
about
talking
nice
about
cars. I don't care about
Yeah,
transportation.
nice
Shaq,
I
man,
didn't
you
say
moving
shit
the
about. I
goalposts,
didn't
bro.
say shit about nice cars. I didn't say a fucking Corvette or a Ferrari. I said your
But what would
fucking
it matter if people
transportation.
had that shit? Because
Bro,
like you're saying, back in the 50s, people
Shaq.
Okay,
had
look,
all that
Shaq, I
on
want to see you
minimum wage.
fly. I
So
want to
what
see
does
you
that
fly
matter at
right
the end
now
of
and
the
go
day?
pop up in Walmart and go buy something at the store. That's all I'm getting at. You need a vehicle. Don't you have a vehicle right now?
I wouldn't need a vehicle if I had my full spiritual capabilities. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so when you
A
have that,
vehicle
then
is
you can tell
completely
us how to
unnecessary at
do.
that point.
Then when you have that, then you can tell us how to live or
Yeah,
how to do like that.
Dan, I'm gonna tell you something right now, Shaq. You have to, you know, we understand that you understand what you know, okay? But the point is, we're talking about the masses, and you are leaving out the fact that people are on different levels of consciousness, okay? So when you say who cares about a car, there's a fucking whole, but like
we could get
billion.
into
No,
that level, bro.
stop. This is where your problem, bro. This is your problem. You don't let people stop. And you know, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna allow you to sit here because this is the build, okay? And I'm trying to sit here and be calm and be mad cool. But you know what you keep doing? You keep cutting people off to give your opinion, and you don't listen. All right, like what I was trying to say. All right, is that there are millions and billions of people out there who are not on the same level as you, that need cars, that need to provide for their families, because like everybody else, no matter what level of consciousness you on, you can still love as much as anybody else. Okay, that's why love is everything. All right, now there are lots of things that people will need. Okay, when things hit the fan and the elite have been made and they lose their control, guess what's going to have to happen? People will still need to eat fucking GMOs and shit like that for like a remainder of like 6 months until like we can understand how to mass produce more organic stuff so we can get rid of the shit. We are going to have to help people spiritually, because there are going to be people who are going to be bound to their religions because they have been fucking giving their energy up to that religion for this whole time, and they've been praying and things have been happening for their life, and that's their faith is so much into their religion. There's going to be so much to do, like you're going to have to digress, like, and there's in the mentality of people are going to change, but it's not going to change as fast as you would want it to, because not everybody is going to be like you, who's going to want to use this fucking superhuman strength or superhuman capabilities to get through life. That's not how it's going to happen. People, it's a process to get there. Okay. And if you're going to sit there and dispute that, that's fucked up, because there are millions and millions of people who matter, and I will fucking kill you to save them if I had to. And I'm telling you that right now, because those people matter way more than you. Okay.
But see, there you go, putting words in my mouth, because I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is they do matter. But we have to help. We have to help convince them. We have to help convince everybody that this shit is not necessary. Like this isn't like all these cars and shit. Like this shit isn't.
That's a common denominator.
This shit doesn't dictate us.
All right, but what you're speaking on.
Remember, man, there's other people that have like the Bill was saying. There are people that grew up with this certain religion and praying and seeing results from this certain religion, and you're going to try to tell them that, well, this is how you're supposed to do. They're not going to listen to you. They've been doing what they have been doing, and what they have been doing has been working. You can't convince everybody, and it's not going to happen. Like he was saying, you're not going to convince everybody right away. It's not going to happen.
So then how are we convince
everybody that your spirituality?
So then, how are we going to convince people that about the system in place then? Because people don't know, because people don't even believe that shit. So what I was saying,
I said right away, we're not going to convince everybody right away like that. It can be 100, 1,000 years. Who knows that we can finally get everyone? But the point is, we're trying to strive to make future generations better. But you can't just sit there and disregard other people's beliefs or other people's this and that and put yours before everyone else's when theirs has been doing just as good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to share something with you, Shaq. This is a prime example. Like you're into yoga, right? Into yoga and those practices, right? There's people that are super spiritual and they'll say what you practice is satanic, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have people all around the world who have their own personal practices that don't call it yoga. They have their own language and all their own stuff that they call it, and the things that they do. You might call it taboo, might call it the opposite of taboo. But it's just taking it, just adhere the whole of the situation. If you come just from your point of view, you're going to have some biases. You're going to have the biases of your teachers and your teachers before you.
The reason why these things are considered, the reason why these things are considered satanic in the first place is because of what the system has done to portray that sort of image on it. You see what I'm saying?
I understand it very well.
Yeah, the system keeps hiding the spiritual shit away from us, bro. They're not hiding the physical shit from us. We know what the physical world is like. The only thing that they keep hiding from us is the fucking spiritual. So like that's why I see it like just me. This is why like I see it like this is why I see it as maybe the way to solve this isn't through physical means. Maybe the only way to solve this problem is through spiritual means. That's all I was trying to
Okay,
say.
so I want to see. I was my question is just well, not a question, but yeah, it is a question for you. It's like, how do you start to get to that spiritualness? You have to start in your physical, right?
It's bro,
Right?
it's as simple as meditation, bro.
I know, but
Meditation
you
can do
have
a
to
lot.
start in
Meditation is a
your
very powerful.
physical right now. You did not just start in your spiritual, did you? You didn't start off as a spiritual being or whatever. You started off as what you are now in the physical form, and you are
No,
reaching
we
out to the
started out. We all
spiritual.
start out. So we all start. That's the thing. That's
I'm
the fucked
saying
up thing
right
about it. Here's
now,
where
though.
here's the deception, bro. Here's the deception because you're saying I started out as a physical being. No, I did not start out as a
But I'm
physical
talking
being.
about when you
We
started to
all start
find the
out.
consciousness about the spirituality. You can't tell me you was a spiritual being flying through whatever, you was you.
Hey, let
And
me
then
ask you
you
a
Yeah.
question.
grasped
Do
onto it,
you
and then you
remember
started to
being a
learn
spiritual
it.
being? Do you remember being a
We're
spiritual being?
all spiritual beings, bro.
Do you remember?
We all started out as spiritual
Do
beings.
you
What happened
remember being
was
a
that
spiritual
the
being?
system
Do you
is
remember
that the
being a spiritual being? That's a question. Do you remember being a spiritual being? Do you remember your
Hmm.
journey before the womb? Do you remember it?
I know that I'm a spiritual being now, and
Do
yes,
you
I
remember
do.
your journey
Oh my
before
gosh.
the womb?
Oh,
All right.
I do, bro.
I don't know. I don't know, Shaq. I mean,
Honestly, I
I know a
do. I
lot of.
mean, that's just me,
Uh,
bro. That's just me. Like through
yeah,
my
that's what I'm
meditations,
about to say.
through my meditations and everything, bro. Like I remember it.
I'm saying he's in the wrong place.
Yeah, I could call this Shaqology or Shaq spiritual stuff. Like, there's a Babalawo that's a member of Black Lotus Civilization. I could tell you all about Odu Ifa. The Baba, I've had situations where I'm in America, he's in Lagos, Nigeria, and he calls me on the phone. Hey, what you're doing right now, it's not right. You shouldn't be that way. Like, what the fuck? All the way in Lagos, Nigeria. So it's like the physical and the spiritual, bro, you can't separate them, man. You can't separate them.
I'm not trying to separate them. I'm not saying you could separate them. All I'm saying is that the spiritual controls the physical. You could change the physical through the spiritual. James, you know this. You've witnessed this firsthand. I know this. I've witnessed this firsthand. Mahir, you probably witnessed this firsthand.
You mean living a different lifestyle and then come into consciousness and then now you're at peace with
It's
yourself?
like you were talking about when you were talking about when you were in jail, bro,
Yeah, yeah,
and you just started meditating and shit, and then all of a sudden you were let out
yeah,
way earlier than you were supposed to be let out.
yeah. 2 weeks.
Doesn't that
Exactly.
say something?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So we can't just put that aside and count and say like, oh, this is just a little thing that can't be used to make a difference. That shit can be used to make a difference.
Yeah,
Yes
but
or no?
you realize
Nobody was saying
you
that.
realize what age I was when I did that, bro? This was like last year or like 2 years ago, 2015. Listen, that what I'm trying to say is it took me years to get to that point where I understood that I can do that. What I'm saying is you can't just tell somebody that shit and then expect them to believe that they got supernatural powers after they've been suppressed for so long. Like, yo, it's
About
gonna
their
take years.
religion or
It's
their
gonna take,
lifestyles.
it's
Yeah.
gonna take years.
Yeah, I'm not saying the shit like I'm not saying the shit can happen tomorrow. I know it takes the work, but we have to have the people willing to put the work in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
I know it's not gonna happen tomorrow. I know it's not gonna happen a year later. It's gonna happen in 10 years later. I understand this. You think like I'm talking about it from an aspect like this shit needs to happen now. I
No,
know it's not
but
gonna
you're
happen
saying
now.
that the people
What I'm
the
saying
people
is
need to put
that
the
we
work in
still
it.
have to.
People are putting the work in it. There is. I want to see. Have you put a balloon up in the damn sky? Have you done this yet? Have you? You
You're
can't sit
talking.
there and
That's
tell.
physical. That's
No.
physical.
Oh my god.
Physical. I'm talking about people putting in the spiritual work.
okay. Let me say something, Shaq. You say that's physical. You want to see people putting in the spiritual work. That's what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, in order to believe something, you gotta feel it, taste it, touch it, right?
In a physical
No.
form.
No. Now you're gonna say no. Well, guess what? There's a million and billion people that will disagree with you because you feel no. That's an opinion, and that's fine. You're gonna keep your
Just because you can
you're gonna
see it,
keep your
taste it,
opinion, and
feel
I'm
it, that
gonna
doesn't make it real. That
your
doesn't
opinion.
make something real.
Oh my God, dude, you're gonna keep your opinion, and
I
I'm
don't
gonna keep going.
understand. I don't understand. I mean, go
Let me-
cut
let
your
me
arm
go.
off right now, man. Tell me what's real.
Now, when people do their own observations, when they're putting balloons up there, that allows them to build faith, which is spiritual based, bro. And they're doing physical work behind it. Okay.
Amen.
Like, listen, man, just listen for a second, and you can sit here and we can really build instead of us having this heated discussion because you want to sit here and fucking just challenge everything we're saying when we're all really just agreeing on shit. Just stop.
Hey,
Just
look. This is the best example. I'm not saying nothing wrong. I'm not trying to be an asshole or nothing like that. I don't know if you. I'm pretty sure, Shaq, you've been exposed, right?
No.
I could have sworn I've seen you there before, but maybe you have. There's this dude named Madon, right? I've been going to this motherfucking spot for like, I'm not even kidding, almost a whole year now. And he's a
Yeah, but we all
globalist
know
guy. Hold
Madon's a
on.
fucking fool, bro.
Okay.
We all
Wait,
know Madon's.
You know Madon. You know who Madon is, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you
bro.
said?
I've been had debates with Madon.
Okay, so this is my point, is that Madon, he comes every single time, no matter what. It's been a whole damn year since I've been watching this show. And Madon, every time he comes with the same thing. Well, the Most High. Well, he has the same fucking shit, and you keep saying the same shit, but nobody is gonna exactly 100% go along with what you're saying if you cannot show it to them. You cannot prove it to them physically, like how, like he was saying, like the build was saying. They have to experience it in physical form first, because they're not just gonna believe right what you say. They're not going to.
Well, all I was
Perfectly
trying to say
said.
is like meditation in itself is a very simple thing,
it is
but it could do a lot.
for
And
you,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's your
know
opinion.
this.
Meditation
That's
is
your
hard for
own
other people,
personal.
bro.
Exactly.
Meditation is not easy for just. It's easy for you because you understand it. It's hard for other people because you know how embarrassing it is to be sitting there alone. Like the most.
I know this, bro. Like
All right,
that's what
if you
y'all
know
are not
this,
understanding. Like I'm a
you know,
yoga, bro. Like I know. I've been helped people.
okay. So
I'm
how can
trying
you
to
not
help people.
understand it? So then how can you not understand the fact
Like
that there's going to be levels to this shit, man, and people are going to have their own perspective, their own view on things, and it's not going to be as easy as you think it is for everybody. You can't just be sitting.
I'm not saying it's easy. Like I know. Like I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen tomorrow, bro. Like I know
Some
this. Like
people will not
every time I
follow
see people come
regardless.
in who are I see people come in who are new to it, bro, and they look awkward as shit. Like they feel awkward, they look awkward, bro. Like it just don't feel right to them. Like I know, but the thing is that we all have to help them. The people that are on higher levels, it's up to us to help the people on lower levels get to higher levels.
All right, look. Here's the best example, though.
Do it like that.
We can't do it
something.
by helping them.
I got one thing I
do
want
it
to
by
say.
just
I give you a chance. I've met a lot of people that I've done tried to talk to that had drug addictions or whatever, that were stuck and they wanted to get out of it, right? But they liked that lifestyle. They like to do it. Some people you will just never be able to click. You get what I'm saying? Some people you just won't.
I was saying that's what I was
But
saying
I'm
in the
not
first place.
saying that's
Like
just to
if there's
give
people
up.
that we can never get, if there's people that we can never get to click, then what the fuck is it that we're doing exactly at that point?
Some people get so lost in what's happening in the physical form that they don't give a fuck about anything else but their fix, their physical fix. No matter what you tell them, no matter if you tell some junkie or some crackhead piece of shit or some heroin addict that, oh, you could do this certain thing and you can get that same mindset that you're getting from this, but in the right sense, they're not going to listen to you. They're just going to do it the way they know how, because that's what but it doesn't mean to completely give up. That you have to give it to them in little bits, kind of like with flat Earth. You can't just hand somebody and throw them a catalog of boom, this is flat Earth. They're just gonna turn their head away. You gotta give them teaspoons, little bits at a time, and let them think of it and let them understand it.
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't say give up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't give up. But I'm just saying, isn't there, because who got us caught up in the physical in the first place? That wasn't us. We didn't do that. The system did. The system got us caught up in the physical. So what could
I
be the
truly feel
only
like
way
the
to break them
physical is
down at that
important
point?
as well, though. I don't feel like we should just that the physical is not anything important. I feel like they both go hand in hand.
That's
You
right.
have to be in touch with your physical form as well as your spiritual. Because
Yeah, but
I
you
don't
can't.
care who you are right now, you're not going to be able to go into your full spiritual form until either you're dead or, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to deal with your physical as well as your spiritual.
Here's the thing about that, though. You can't change the spiritual through the physical, but you can change the physical through the spiritual. That's my whole point.
I don't know.
But you can't convince everybody that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I know a lot of old spiritual teachers, bro, and they say that you got to have both full. That's why they have so many ceremonies and rituals. You have to have both in tune. Yoga is a prime example. When you're doing yoga, you're using your body. The yoga poses and all that,
Yeah,
you're physically using your body. So it's kind of
you're
a
using your
contradictory,
body
bro.
because you're changing the physical through the spiritual.
Like what you were
Because in
saying
yoga,
that,
they don't
that you
there's a
want, like you seen
biological.
they don't
monks that
teach
used to
because
float
in
or
yoga,
whatever,
like
that could
in yoga,
float.
they don't teach that the physical body, you're using your physical body, yes. But in yoga, they teach that your physical body is not your real body. That is not the body you have. Like, it's
But
the
you
body
can't.
you're in, but that is not what dictates your life.
Yes, I see what you're
That's
getting at.
why I
But
left
you
yoga
can't
alone. That's why I left
disregard
yoga and
the
Buddhism alone
physical
because of that.
form until you're dead. Until you
That's
completely
right.
just die, you're not gonna ever go into your full spiritual form. Never. You're gonna have to
There's
deal with
there's
your
many people
physical.
who there's many
I don't
people who
blame you.
have just died meditating, bro.
I don't
Just
blame you.
straight, like, they're just meditating and then all of a sudden they die, bro.
They probably meditate with a bunch of damn opium and fucking OD. Who knows?
No,
Really?
sober,
Come
A
on,
lot
sober,
come
of
on,
that.
come on.
I mean, I read a
sober.
lot because ever since
Some
I've been listening to y'all,
tetrodotoxin.
I actually looked into a lot of the stuff, and I look into it a lot now. The whole, and I look, and a lot of it was used through certain substances. They would take opium blossom and stuff, and they would eat the blossom, and then they would meditate. Well, I'm sorry, but that's still is something that doesn't
Physical.
come naturally in the body. It's still a substance that is
There's still shit
altering
that
the
you could do
mindset.
sober, though. Just
Yes,
because
but what I'm saying
you've
is
seen
that
people do it, just because you've seen people do it on certain substances doesn't mean that everybody has
yeah, but
done it
what I'm saying
through
is that
certain substances,
you
bro.
know 100% without a doubt on your mama, on everyone, that person that died doing meditation wasn't at old age, didn't have this kind of illness or this kind of disease or this kind of blah, 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 and they just randomly died. You can't tell
Yeah,
me you
bro.
know
Just
that
look at Buddhist
100%.
monks. Look at Buddhist monks, bro.
That's a story, or that's something that you are
Yeah, I
Real
don't
monks,
believe him.
researching.
real
You don't
people,
know
bro.
that personally
Not Buddha. The
100%.
Buddhist monks, bro. Like the actual people doing this shit right now.
You don't know that 100%. You're not over there in I don't know what the place is, like Tibet or blah, I don't know exactly. I can't remember the names of the origins and stuff. But you're not there. You don't see that 100% personally in front of you.
How do you know I haven't been there?
Because you. All right, I'm done.
How do you know I haven't been there?
Hey, I used to go to the
Go there
Soka
right now.
Gakkai. Damn. I used to go to the Soka Gakkai Corporation and practice Buddhism, do the whole Nam Myoho Renge Kyo thing. After that, I got into Hinduism. I did my whole Hari 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 Krishna 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 Hari Hari the Varnish Rama Dharma and all that stuff, bro. In 2005, 2006, 2007. I'm sorry, man. I ran into a wall when it came to that because they were trying to get me separate yourself from your physical body. Don't use your brain, use the heart. And I'm like, wait a minute, what about all my other organs? What about my whole body? That's why when I got into studying
Use the heart.
the everything around the whole world, instead of just a specific teaching, you really get a overall taking on it. You know, it removes
Why
the bias.
And
concepts are there,
you
bro?
said something though. You said something though. Think about it. You said that you don't use the mind, you use the heart, right? Well, guess what? The heart is physical, is it not?
That's right.
All right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but
So I had a lot of
well, that's what I'm
disagreements.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like just because that's what you heard doesn't mean that that's what I teach. That doesn't mean that that's what I know. That's not
No,
how I go through it.
Daishonen's liturgy. See, I can give you the whole details to it, and do the whole Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Yeah,
The
that's the
Daishonen's
literature, bro. That's the
liturgy
literature. I don't go off
that's
the
what the
literature.
literature. Okay, now I have a problem with
That's the
that. Then
literature.
where's
I'm
your
not
yoga?
going off
Where's
of the
your
literature.
yoga teaching coming from? If it's not coming from the original source,
Yeah,
where's it coming
wait,
from?
aren't you reading a book?
Okay, so then
Aren't you reading a
literature have
book?
you
Aren't
read
you
on?
reading a
What
book?
literature have you read on
It's
yoga
just
exactly? Can I
Isn't
ask
that
that?
literature? Isn't that literature?
What literature have you read?
on yoga. Oh,
Yeah,
I can't even remember all the literature I've read over the years. I've read so many different literatures. I can't remember the authors and titles. I'd have to go back into like research and stuff.
Yoga Sutras
So
of Patanjali.
I've read different. The what?
Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Have you read that?
No. That's what and that's my point that I
Exactly.
was
That's what
making
I'm
about
saying, bro.
the
So how
Buddhism
can you say
liturgy
like
because I know its origin. That's what I'm saying. No matter what name you say, the same thing with
you
Buddhism.
haven't even
I
read
know its origin,
you haven't
and when
even
I
read
found
this?
the origin, I found that the people who took over yoga, took over Buddhism, took over Hinduism, they started changing the teachings and confusing
Exactly,
people.
bro. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Everything has been corrupted. I'm not saying that there's shit out there that hasn't been corrupted. I know this shit. I know that shit. Everything's been corrupted. We have to look for the truth through everything that's out here. Everything that's out here, we have to look for the truth in it. That's what I'm saying, bro. And it's just like you just said, you haven't read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, bro. So
No, I
which
run from that
means that
stuff.
you haven't even looked. So which means that you haven't even looked fully into it, bro. Because the whole the whole Ashtanga practice is based off of that shit.
I prefer Odu Ifa. I prefer Odu Ifa. You know,
See, I don't even know what the
so
fuck Odu Ifa is, because all I practice
that's
is
exactly,
Ashtanga.
exactly.
Ashtanga is
So
the true. Ashtanga is the true original form of yoga.
I can't say that. See, I could say Odu Ifa came before that.
Where
You know,
what is Odu Ifa? Try explaining that to me. Like maybe you're just using a different name for it, but because
All right.
I
What
know
I'll do,
most of I know most of the yoga practices are in Sanskrit, not what you're saying right now.
what I'll do respect. What I'll do
oh
respect.
wait, Sanskrit is literature. That's literature.
Hey, yo, Mia. What I'll do
That's a
respect,
language.
bro.
That's not literature. That's a language.
Excuse me, Shaq.
You said
Well,
Sanskrit script. Script is literature. That's liturgy. A script. Not
Sanskrit.
you said Sanskrit. That's
Sanskrit.
just the language. But
Yes,
the
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit.
I said Sanskrit, not Sanskrit.
Oh,
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. Okay. Because I was taught to run away from that stuff. And then when I was older and came into my own intelligence, I then studied the stuff. And when I studied it, I found a lot of faults. That Sanskrit alphabet is pseudo. Now I can get you hard. I'm gonna give you what is it called. I'm gonna give you some admonishment. I trust no alphabets. I trust no
You could
writing
say yeah.
characters.
So then you could say
So
you could say every alphabet is pseudo. Then at that point,
right. So I want to know
because
the
yeah,
original without the writings and stuff. I want to know the Varnish Rama Dharma. I want to know what the Tamil say. You know, not just that one-sided stuff. But this is what I'm saying. This is how you respectfully admonish something. Okay? All this stuff we talk about comes from liturgy, literature. It comes from that. Nobody just wakes up and I want to study this and I just wake up and start doing stuff. No, you have to be taught, and they have certain papers and writings that they give these instructions on how they do these things. It's very
and what
few
I'm saying is
teachings that don't use writing.
and exactly, but we know that yoga doesn't come from literature because you could see everything in nature do it all the time.
okay. All right.
Shit, half of the yoga positions are based off of natural things that occur in nature.
Hey, yo.
You got mountain pose, you got monkey pose, you got all these different poses, bro, that are just based off of nature because of because of what certain animals in nature does. Pigeon pose, based off of what pigeons do. So it's just like we know because when we talk about going back to nature and shit like that, well, we know yoga is a part of that because yoga is only based off of certain things that we see in nature all the time. In
That's what's
tree
up.
pose, like when you're trying to like when you're teaching it, and you're telling people about tree pose. You say, take your left foot and put all of your weight into your left foot. Grow your roots into the ground so that you can stay stable. Then take your right leg and bring it up. You could put it rather on your shin or on your thigh, but not on your knee. And then you keep your hands on your waist. And then you pick a point on the ground so that you could keep that balance. And then you let your branches grow, which is bringing your arms up, bro. Like all these different yoga positions, they're just based off of nature. I didn't learn yoga off of no literature. I didn't use literature to know my thing. Most of the shit I know is just from meditation, bro. Most of the shit that I know about the spiritual, at least, is from meditation, not from some shit that I read.
All right, family.
Okay.
All right. That's cool, bro. So I want to just go back into something we was talking about earlier about like the cashless societies and like just living without currency and like just getting to that point of where we are self like independent and we don't need governments anymore and shit. And then after that, you know, taking that journey, you know, trying to see what's beyond the ice rings, or if that, or if it's even true, you know, that there is even any ice rings to go over, you know.
Right.
You sent something earlier, Mia. I originally wanted you to touch on that, you know.
I posted in the chat. You know, I've been trying to share a lot of stuff about, you know, the people who are running it and the whole purpose beyond, you know, what this money is for. It's the energy. You go to work, you put this energy into work, and you can't offend your boss, you're going to lose your job. So you have all this energy you're putting into this and to keep your bills going and all this type of stuff going. That's a big form of your energy. And
Right.
you know how you get off of work, you all tired and stuff, you spiritually drained from doing something
Right.
to keep all this stuff going and stuff. So these things, it's like, it's very important to know who's really controlling this stuff. And that's why I was putting out the information about Switzerland, how the Swiss really run it. You know, they've been running it since the 12th century. That's where
Right.
the Templars went. So it's like, who's really stopping us from going over that ice wall? That's why I posted that article in there. Since 2016, you have the ACE project. They run it. You're not going over there without no approval, period. You're not going to get over an ice wall. You're not going to go into certain places without getting this approval from, you know, the ACE. So I'll just read a little bit of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing I posted below.
But hold on,
If you want.
can I just reply to like what you said real quick? Because it's like what you said about the work and you're being spiritually drained. Like, bro, like I said that same shit, but after I said that shit,
Exactly.
like hell broke loose, and I don't understand
I
why.
agreed with you. I agreed with you when you said it. I said that's what I was saying. We were saying the same thing at the same time. I'm like, it's not the money, it's the energy. And you said the same thing. I was like, that's right. I muted my
So
mic.
then why would you guys? So then what I don't understand is like why would you guys disagree with me on taking down this? Why would you guys disagree with me on maybe the only way we could bring down the system is spiritually, not physically?
I don't disagree with that.
Why
I
would-
just feel that if you have to have something better than the system that's running now, if you don't have something better than what's running now, nobody's going to rock with you. If I have $1 million and I could just pay people to believe me, it's so much easier. But if I just replace what they're doing now, it's going to be complicated. You're going to run into so many complications beyond getting killed. People will just shun you off and you'll be blackballed, you know? It's like replacing the system now. There's a quote. I can't even remember the quote or the person who quoted it. I'll find it and I'll post it. But there's a quote basically saying that you have to, instead of breaking it down and destroying it, create something that's so much better that the people will just leave the system they're in now and come right to the system that's created that you put
exactly,
together.
and this isn't like the questions I were asking. When I was asking questions, like I kind of think like you guys were looking at them like as rhetorical questions. Like, no, I'm truly asking these questions. Like, how
Nope.
can we get people? How can we get people to leave the system when these same people are like truly think that this is the best system that they need?
It's all
Like that's what I was saying. Like that was a truly honest question. Like I wasn't trying to be rhetorical or anything. Like it was just like I was truly asking, like, what is it that we could possibly do at that point to break it down? Because we could say what it would be like to be in a cashless society, but how are we going to get it to the point that it is a cashless society? Like, what is it exactly that we're going to do?
I mean, that's the whole point of us trying to, like, you know, that was the whole point of this conversation, you know, is to even to just talk about
Perfect.
it. But like, yo, but Maya, can you what you was
Oh
about
yeah.
to break down?
Yes, yes. Before I read the stuff on the ACE, that's why I created a project. Well, two projects, but you know, where it's called mine, manufacture, and mass produce everything we use, so we don't have to put all this energy into doing all this excessive work to make other people wealthy and continue on their stuff. Instead of paying all this money to buy these things, let's learn how to build these things. Let's teach the kids that are 4 years old that how to build a house, how to build a car, how to build a airplane, a helicopter, submarine, you know, whatever it is. Let's really reiterate these things. Booker T. Washington created the whole little complete man thing, right? Well, let me remove little. He created the 72 principles of man, knowing how to use his hands and build all the things in his society. So if I know how to build the plumbing system and all these different things and the house and stuff, all I needed the resources to get the minerals. And that's why I created 3MP, mine, manufacture, mass produce. I even have a GoFundMe. I haven't got much but $50 on it, but you know, it's not an Umar Johnson thing. This is something to get an actual factory or facility to where we can start building the things for now and the future. You know, so that was a thing to a form of removing this whole monetary system. Instead of us making all this money and I gather all this money up and then I go buy this thing that costs all this money, let's find out how to build. Let's put some money into learning how to build it. I've dealt with people who build houses and apartments. You know, I've done construction myself. So I've met many people in this, just the housing part, where people are paying $400,000 for a house when it turns out that if you build it yourself, you're only spending 30,000. Now you're still spending money, but just look at the, oh my God, the difference, the distance between the amount you're spending, the amount of energy that would be put into the 30,000. You're building your own house. You know how much, how it feels when you build your own stuff. You know, I did construction for places where it wasn't for me and I still felt good. Did the little demolition, broke things down, got the new stuff, assembled it, put it together and put it in the proper place and seeing everything work right. It just feels so good, you know? So it's like the children, specifically for the males, that these are things we love. When we're kids, the shiny thing, the metal things, and all these different things, we want to touch it. We want to know what it does, and all these different things, and discovering as we grow and our intelligence becomes, you know, better than what it is from the time of birth. It's these things that that no matter what we have to deal with, unless you go live in a jungle. I know people live in a jungle right now. My old co-host is down there in South Africa in the jungle right now, and no matter what, he has to come out of that jungle and deal with these physical things, you know, cars, eating and all this type of stuff. But he's in the jungle. He's down there in the jungle. But when he gets on the phone with me, it's about business, it's about family, it's about keeping things going. And when I mention 3MP and it gets back to the people we work with, they love it. So I've been trying to really put this together to replace the monetary system, not destroy it, but replace it. I mean, I don't care if it exists still, but at least we can make our own stuff. And the richest people of the planet, do you know what they care about? Mining, manufacture, and mass produce. That's all they really care about. Is my stuff going to continue to get mined so I can continue to do what I do? Is my stuff going to continue to be manufactured so I can continue to do what I do? Is it going to continue to be mass produced by the people who work these jobs and stuff? Fast food, that's mass production. Shoe companies, that's mass production. Vehicle companies, mass production. So it's like let's put our intelligence, spirituality, beautiful, but let's get these things down so when we are spiritual, we won't have so many things coming, you know, blocking us and stuff. Because I'm gonna give you a personal story. I was super spiritual, vegan, fasting, and all this type of stuff, and my lady at the time wasn't with it. So when a guy comes cool, there's all the worldly stuff, eating hamburgers and all the little, you know, barbecue and stuff, and got the new fancy stuff. And I'm saying, no, forget all the fancy stuff. I want to be spiritual, pure spirituality, everything spiritual. You know, the lady is not going to be with you if she's not into that. So removing the whole thing of making people rich and working these jobs and having to go to a store and buy these things, you know, let's learn how to make them. That's my thing. And maintenance, repair, overhaul, maintenance, repair, operations, 2MRO. That's for fixing our ecosystems, because our ecosystems on this planet are so out of whack. We got land mass, landfills in places where water and ocean was, and all kind of things, man. We need to, if we want to, this is what I said about the whole flat earth thing, that, okay, cool, it's flat, but let's fix the things that are wrong. If we care about our planet, let's really put some effort into doing these things, because, I mean, what greater, the planet will appreciate it. It really will. The planet will appreciate it. Not to speak for the planet, but the planet will appreciate an ecosystem being corrected the way that it's naturally supposed to be. So with the 3MP and the 2MRO, it allows what Shaq is saying to happen. These things open up for these things to happen freely, not removing a barter system, but just getting us to where we can do these things. Because I can't sit and be spiritual all day. I gotta pay bills. I got kids. I got stepkids. They need things. I got 4 stepkids, 2 daughters of my own. And like I can't just be spiritual and not work a job and not go pay all these things. So if I can find a way to where their grandkids don't have to put all this effort into working these jobs and buying all these things and knowing how to make them, where people are making their own stuff, man, that stuff is it's an idea I put together for a while, and it had many faults, many things that I have implemented that weren't going to work. I removed stuff, and I'm always open to changing it to where it's for us. This is not something I really created. This is just me and mine. I'm creating this for us. This is for now and the future, you know? Okay. I don't know if anybody want to, add on to that, but I really wanted to get on that ACE and stuff about Switzerland running the whole Antarctica program. Like I really been holding that information for a while.
I think you should
You know?
touch on it. Touch on it.
Okay, perfect. But before I do, it was Buckminster Fuller who said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete."
I like that. Basically, that's saying don't reinvent the wheel.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Can't reinvent the wheel.
Can't. Can improve the tire. That's about it. But about the Antarctica circumnavigation expedition called ACE. ACE was first project carried out by the newly created Swiss Polar Institute, the SPI, the Spy Guys, from December 2016 to March 2017. And it's cut off over there, so let me continue on over here. I'm not gonna read all of it. It's gonna be a bunch of names. Might mess up on some of the names, but anyway. Overall, the world took part in the groundbreaking expedition aboard the Russian research vessel Academic Tresnikov. From biology to climatology to oceanography, the researchers worked in a number of interrelated fields as they sought to expand our understanding of the white continent. ACE's starting point was Cape Town, South Africa. During the Academic Tresnikov's pre-expedition voyage from Bremerhaven, Germany, to Cape Town in November 2016, the ship hosted the ACE Maritime University under the auspices of the Russian Geographical Society. They're tied into the Royal Society, by the way. Okay, I lost my. Okay, during this voyage, some 50 up-and-coming scientists attended onboard lectures and engaged in oceanographic work. The SPY was founded by EPFL, the Swiss Federal Institute for Forest, Snow, and Landscape Research. Now, there's a little bit more, but I'm going to get tedious and read the whole thing. But it's in the post. In fact, you know what? It's only so much. Okay, so WSLETH Zurich, the University of Bern, and Editions Paulsen. It was designed to enhance international relations and scientific collaborations and to spark the interest of a new generation of young scientists and explorers in polar research. In order to foster an interdisciplinary culture, ACE drew on the skills and know-how of scientists representing a broad range of disciplines. The SPY believes that this approach is the best way to understand Antarctica and its role in current and future climate issues and their impact on our planet. So if you want to really get down there and really want to do some stuff, you're going to have to deal with them. You have to deal with about 5 to 6 different institutions. I just wanted to share that.
Good luck.
Oh, there's a way you can get in. You just got to go to the schools, get their education, become, master degrees, and really show interest and show that you're not trying to infiltrate and do something and report back or do some type of espionage. You know, that's the really only way you're gonna deal with them. It's not easy. But 2016, Switzerland, the people in Swiss, the ones that run the Federal Reserve in America, that's out of Missouri. You know, uh, they're the ones that control it down there. So if you go down there and you're like, I'm gonna go research this stuff for flat Earth, you're gonna have a big problem. And so maybe we need some people that are gonna do this if they are to really approach it from a point of not not putting it out there that I'm coming to prove NASA JPL wrong and space and all that type of stuff. You're gonna have to really show that you're interested in the way that they're doing it. So I just wanted to share it, man. Just wanted to share. I'm an information fanatic, so I love sharing information. I don't know if you could show the video. I posted. It's a little off topic though. Besides the Antarctica and the connection of the ruling class and those that really run things. I could say they really run things, or it's that we let them run it. That we continue to live in this way of living because, hell, I mean, we go live in the jungle, go live in the forest, or we go live in what we're doing with now. You like your Wi-Fi and your internet and all that type of stuff, you're gonna live here. If you want to completely remove yourself and be absolutely spiritual, you're hunting for your own food, you're digging up the roots and all that, and herbs and all the good stuff, man, which I love, by the way. Then hey, I love it, but I got kids out here, so I can't just get up and go without taking, or saying forget it. I have to let go of my relationship with my daughters. Like I'm gonna have to let go if I want to go do these things. And maybe when my daughter is in her 20s, perfect. If I live that long, cool. But otherwise, you're gonna have to deal with these things, no matter what. We have
But
to deal
like,
with
what I
this.
don't understand is why wouldn't you be able to bring them with you?
Man, my daughter ain't trying to go out there, bro. What? She is not gonna do it. She's not gonna want to do it. I'm not gonna force her. Rather be better for her or not. I'm not gonna force my will upon somebody, rather it be my child or not.
Like, not forcing it. Like, I know you can never force anybody to do something. It's just like we have to be able to teach people all these things so that they would be willing to do it, because it's not as bad as it seems. Like, once you actually know how to grow your own food, once you actually know how to do all these things, it doesn't really seem that all that bad. It just seems bad because we're so used to a life of luxury when we have a house or when we have a car and shit like that. That's the only reason why it seems like a hard life now.
That's right. Grocery stores,
Because when you look
and
at
I have the
people,
privilege.
yeah, like when you look at people in the Amazon or when you look at little tribes in Africa, bro, like they ain't complaining about it. They love it.
They
That's right.
born that way. They born that way.
Exactly. That's what I was
Come
about to
on,
say.
man.
That's their
Make,
lifestyle.
make
But
you
they love our
switch.
technology. Babalawo Olabisi Olalakan, he loves the technology. He's playing video games in Lagos, Nigeria. But he's the medicine man in Lagos, Nigeria. When people come to him, they get healed. They don't come to get an Advil or a Tylenol. They come to get healed. But he's still playing with video games. He's still playing PS4, and TV. So yeah, it's true. But at the same time, even over there, now they're like, forget it, man. Let's modernize. And it's not a good thing. I don't want to say it's a negative or a positive thing. I'll just say Haile Selassie did start a lot of that. I'm not going to dwell too much on the historical part about it, but he's the one that really like created that when he created the whole African Union stuff to, that's just Africa though. But when he created the African Union to get people to modernize and not live that way, it caused a lot of problems. You know, me personally, I do wish I can live like that because I actually have ancestors in America that live like that, and that's why I don't need to travel anywhere. I'll just go back. I'll go to Canada. I go to Canada. I still have a lot of family in Canada. The Seneca, Haudenosaunee. You know,
I like Canada.
I go. hmm
I've been there many times. Love it.
Beautiful, ain't it?
Huh?
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
in Canada.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Very nice people up there.
Peaceful people. You can really be spiritual when your environment is spiritual. That's what I'm saying,
Because they got a whole
brother
bunch.
Shaq.
They got a whole bunch of different laws that we have up there. Like you can actually, like, when people talk about all this gangsterism, like you gangstering all that up there. Like there's no gangsters up there. Like there's really
Nope.
no hard rocks up there. Nobody's dropping the people out there. And if you're hustling out there, you'll get caught so fast out there. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
They don't even
You can
sell.
hustle up
They
there.
don't even sell menthol cigarettes up there. It's illegal.
Nope. People try to sneak in with weed from America all the time. Get busted.
Yeah.
I know. Alaska too. Alaska is a part of America. Alaska is also a place where it's like that. But I'm just giving like examples of there are places, here that we can go to. Reservations in America. You can really go to a reservation. My father's mother was born on the Illinois reservation, so I can actually go to the Illinois reservation. Just
Are
all I
you
have to
are
do is
you are
show.
you on the list?
No,
Are you
my father is. I
okay?
haven't signed any lists, but I'm under my father at his last name. His mother was born on a reservation, so her last name, yeah, they are. The hoods they are, but
I'm
Craig,
trying
nah.
to get on the Blackfoot list now.
Oh, you mean on the blacklist? Oh,
No, the
yeah, I heard.
Blackfoot tribe.
No. We're Haudenosaunee, the Seneca. It's
Yeah,
really called Onondagawa.
my
Pronouncing it a
father's
little
tribe.
wrong or whatever.
My father's tribe is Blackfoot.
Blackfoot. That's the five civilized tribes.
The who?
The Blackfoot, Cherokee, Chippewa. I can't remember the rest of them. They're
Yeah.
part of the five civilized tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a lot about Africa, but I learned about America first. So when studying them and seeing how they lived, how they were a cashless society. I had to ask, I had to talk to my family, like what the hell happened? What happened? The long houses didn't last, the standing stone stuff wasn't good enough, and there's a story behind it. I don't want to get into it, into all that either. But the having a cashless society, but keeping a barter system, would be marvelous. It's just that most people thinking that, with the sayings, the money is the root of evil, and money is this, and look at the dollar bill, all the Freemasonic symbols on it. We lose the concept of forgetting that at the same time we can use this money. And that's why with the 3MP thing, I'm like, we can use this money to build ways and gathering resources. If I have what you want, you're gonna have to contact me. I don't have to go contact you. Hey, you still want this? No, you're gonna contact me. So if you're contacting me and then you're saying how much do I owe you? No. We make these things for free. We made this just for you, for everybody. Instead of making it just to make a profit, I want to make it just so I can see someone use what I made. It's the excitement, and then teaching them how to make it themselves. It's like we really got to get back into that, man. And in America was built on that. We can talk about the whole slavery and all the negative things about it, but America, the good things about America, it was built upon those things, which is ruined, but hey. So a cashless society, it could work. It would only be time before, an incident goes wrong where things aren't running as smooth, and then we'll have to deal with that situation at that time. But same thing with the money, they thought of that too. Money that we use today really didn't come in to the use as it is now until, the late 1800s, the late 19th century. I can't remember which president signed it in for the Federal Reserve Act and all that stuff at the moment. But You know, we still had that. That's why a lot of the coins have Indians on them. The coins before 1913, you're gonna find a lot of Indians on the coin. So even with that, they were still using, silver, gold, copper as a barter system. When it's the monetary, it's so you know what it is? I'm trying to make a long story short without boring everybody. But if you just look up the Alfred Act and the Fred Act, the Federal Reserve Act, and the way it's built upon to where I'm a employee and you are a employer, it becomes basically it doesn't help us, man. That's what I'm really getting at. It doesn't help us. And back on the NASA thing with them receiving all that money, is the fact that they're getting all that money and they're putting out all this stuff, and we put all this energy into believing what they say while giving them all that money when it could go to something else. I mean, shit, we could take 10% of that money and get Shaq 20 yoga facilities to run his yoga thing. But they're not going to do that. So I want to find a way, like the quote said, find a way to replace that. I want to replace it. I don't want to destroy it necessarily, because I don't think destroying anything is going to be a good thing. Because if you try and destroy that monetary system, holy shit, you talk about some Jason Bourne, you're gonna have some Jason Bournes coming after you. You don't want that. You don't want some Jason Bourne sitting there in a mountain waiting for you to get out of your house. You don't want that. So we got to do a different approach, and you're gonna have to deal with the people in power. You're gonna have to deal with them long as you live in a country that's controlled by them, and that's almost all countries on this planet. So find a way where the people who are doing the negative things can say, you know what, we can't really fight against this. How can we profit or benefit from it? Create something so good that they say, you know what, this is good. This is gonna work. This can make what we have going now obsolete. And with the money thing, the history of the money thing is, we look into the Lombards and how the system was created. It was not a good idea. It really wasn't. In the Bahri Darag, where the whole barter system comes from, everything was copper, silver, and gold based. But at the same time, people made things, and they were so happy they made it that they would continuously make them, and they were giving it to everyone in their clan. So, I just wanted to, give that point, like a little dialogue on it, because I don't want to get too long-winded, because I could go on and on and on. I can bust out the Alfred acts and read off 6, but I need more than just my thoughts on this. I need more than just my opinion and what I've come across and what teachers taught me in order to really work. Because no system is created by a few people. And they have to have councils. Royal Society have councils where 1,400 people agree upon something. And they have a smaller number of people that agree upon something. And then they have the 6 royal members who put the stamp on it. So we're going to have to work in unison with each other, and disagreements and arguments and stuff like that. If it can, be, what's the word? If the arguments and things can be put in a positive matter, or where something positive comes out of it, or something that we can build on, that we can apply, that's going to be a real debate. That's why I used to argue about the whole conscious community doing debates and stuff when it's not helping. Like, let's focus on things that really matter and help. Because majority of us here have kids, so on our perspective, we might not risk as much as Shaq will. Shaq might risk way more than we will, because in our mind we're thinking, oh shit, what's my child gonna feel if I'm not in her life or in his life anymore? What is my family gonna do? Now my family has to take care of them. I won't be in my woman's life. Like, you have all these different things that you're holding on in the physical, but when someone doesn't have that, it's kind of like the daredevil, the man without fear. Yeah. The man without fear, you know, is going to be the person who you can't buy, you can't manipulate, you can't do these things to. So we definitely need people like that. Jack, give me some props there, bro.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I hate trying to say it because like I mean people get so personal about it, and it's like I mean I would have said the same thing. I would have said the same thing a couple years ago when my best friend was still alive and when my dog was still alive. But it's just like one thing that I totally learned after they died is just like I gotta stop being attached to things, and it's like that's one of the mainest, it's one of the biggest things that people have a problem with today. We're attached. We're attached to the physical. We're too attached to it.
That's right, that attachment, you know, and I have that. I have that with my daughter. Like, I love my daughter. Her mom wasn't in her life um as much as I was. So, like for me, it's like shit. I can't picture it, man. You know, like bam, daddy did this and daddy died. You know, that's something. It's gonna be a reality eventually. But I'm like, man, I want to do it when I'm older. But the key thing, look at the benefits of this though, Shaq. Just think of being successful at doing it and not getting killed. Those are the people who faces and bust are put on stuff and are examples of way of a living, way to be in order to be successful. Not successful just in making money, but just successful, period. One's success is, you know, off of one's own character and one's thinking. So with me, before I had my daughter, I was that person. I was that person, man. I got beat up by the sheriffs, got put in a hospital. You know, sheriffs pulled me over. What? According to this act and this constitution and this amendment and this, you know, I was that dude, man. And I paid the horrible consequences. I can't go to my original city without being harassed now. As soon as I pull up in there and they see my face, I'm getting pulled over. I've dealt with the FBI 2 times. I'm probably say too much right here. I've had the FBI harass me coming to my.
Yo,
My bad, y'all. My phone died. I gotta run to the store real quick, so I'm gonna step away for like 5 minutes. That was funny. I know people be like, "Oh man, FBI shut him off." No, phone died. I got my other phone, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a little walk, man, and I'm gonna listen, brother. Cool food, but I'm gonna
What's,
listen, y'all.
what's up? What's up, brother? Peace. Yeah, I like what you be talking, man.
Please. I'm gonna come back in and continue to build.
Yeah, keep going, man, because your thing is more realistic. The topics that you're speaking on is more realistic. Get sick and tired of this fairy tale fantasy land. A lot of people be talking. What's wrong with this phone?